Another day of buzzwords now be for inside Nigeria, and to read don't come on a domot. As an Minister for Information, YB, my name is Precious Enyi. Welcome to Updated Precious. Now here are they bring on updates on matter when they happen for inside Nigeria. And today, na drama galore for inside Nigeria. Accusations, counter accusations, debunking, and counter debunking. Now, what's they happen for inside Nigeria? I shall say, they ask me, say, why? Which one be accusation and counter accusation? So we wake up this morning to an exclusive by People's Gazzate to say, my dear brother, Oganyeson Wike, allocate over 2,000 hectares of land to his son. In son. Now, so the story carry up. And people come and say, hey, as the Ross Helter Skelter, they want to verify this matter and all that. Well, immediate aid don't respond to the matter. As immediate aid respond, PM receipts can show fees. Yeah, what is going on there? Now, in case you know, I'm just saying you hear the drama will happen or the matter will happen when they demolish presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi brother house for inside the Lagos State. Well, Lagos State government don't say, they don't wash their hand, come on like Pontius Pilate. Say they know they'll not be done demolition. They don't know anything about this demolition. What is going on here? So excuse me. If not be on a demolition, who called demolition? Now they compromise. Say, hey, excuse me, we are going to probe it. We'll go probe this demolition. We'll go probe all of this issue. Plenty matter there our front will carry go. Before I tell on the guest will be say I get from Adomot. Speak I carry on through the headlines and we will get this evening very quickly. Exclusive, Wike intensifies mindless looting of Abuja lands, allocates 2,082 hectares worth $3.6 billion to son Joaquin in Maitama, Asokoro, and other places. This matter, this can matter where Jim's in his voice. Now, Wike's aid debunks reports. Minister allocated lands to son. He debunks the report that minister allocated land to son. All right, breaking another news. Of course, dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu don't sign 4 tax bills into law. And this one's going to take effect very soon. Nigeria tops global ranking for lack of access of electricity 3 times. For 3 times, we don't get number, we top the position for people who don't get electricity for the world. 3 times in a row, back to back to back. Now you would the top up. And the Lagos State government denies involvement in demolition of Obi's brother's property. That one saved day. And the Lagos government launches probe into demolition of Obi's brother's property. We'll go talk about the, debunking. And then confusion as 2 ADA political groups seek registration from INEC. Now, among all the political groups and where they want seek registration, only this particular ADA, 9 comma twice. What's happened? What could be the drama? We'll go talk about them. Meanwhile, talking about coalition, confusion persists over Atiku's involvement, adoption of ADA. We'll also talk about that matter. PDP National Working Committee counters Anyanwu's reinstatement, schedules next meeting for June 30th. That one said the military deploys 800 special forces to combat Nigeria's worsening security challenges. And that one, the bandits take control. Did you hear me? Take control of Kankara local government area in Katsina State. That is, now them get the local government right now. Bandits. In fact, call them terrorists because that's who they are. Now, about 17 to 20 soldiers, gallant soldiers we die for inside Niger State, where the same bandits then kill. Ogashe Husani don't talk, say they gave their lives for us. Now, so you don't talk. And then gospel singer sentenced to death for killing girlfriend Salome Adaidu. That one said they will go talk about it. And our president also say Nigeria will recover from hardship if governors deliver good governance. And at Tinubu 9, they talk this one. Make I quickly bring the guest so I get into the house. Dr. Catch. Oh, no, Jinani, my guest. Good evening. Thank you so much, Dr. Catch. Thank you so much. I pursued you and I caught you. I looked for you. I crossed 7 seas to look for you. And I got you. Thank you so much for obliging me. Thank you so much for joining this conversation tonight.
Thank you, Fervent, for having me. Congratulations and
Thank
making the
you.
find. As you say, you
Ah,
looked for me
I looked for
over
you. I looked
several
for you.
rivers.
I
But
say
I think,
I crossed 7 seas.
well, for me, it's an easy thing. If you get to me, I will always allow you access if there are no problems that undermines your reason for trying to contact me. So for me, I'm available,
Thank you.
and I will forever be there to
Oh,
tell Nigerians
oh.
whatever it is that they seek.
I like the idea of forever be there. I almost told you stop it. I like it. It's so good. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you. So let's get started with Abuja. That is Organizing Wiki. You know, say now. So I woke up this morning to a conversation on
Yes, it's
exclusive.
temporary landlords.
We woke up to a conversation
Yes.
that the last Christmas, just last Christmas, that Nyesom Wike challenged Nigerians who accused him of stealing lands from everyday citizen for himself and his cronies under his purportedly policy against dormant allocations to come forward with evidence. Now, I don't know whether you remember them when they were accusing him that, oh, he was siphoning lands to give to his cronies. They even mentioned, I think, Chinda and all that in that conversation that time last year. Now, it appeared that the Abuja minister knew his accusers were onto something, but brushed aside those allegations because he had no expectation of being exposed or perhaps ever facing the consequences of his brazen corruption. This is according to an exclusive by Sahara reporters. Now, sorry, did I say Sahara? I beg your pardon. People's Gazette. So, People's Gazette is still pouring through a corrupt year, according to them,
Well, if you ask
sir.
me, you would need to understand we've through that period, and
Okay.
those who want to now go further have gone further, and they have found what they're looking.
Oh dear,
The state
network.
is not Abuja. No. Abuja is Nigeria. Now, even those who work for you in Abuja, and the information you don't want to get out to the other people, because Abuja is a conglomeration of Nigeria's diversity. So, and he has to understand that. But I think uh, Minister Wike will learn on the job. There's no doubt. He doesn't know Nigeria very well. He is now beginning to find out what it took him to win and succeed in River State may not necessarily be what he will continue to do to be able to succeed in Nigeria. Nigeria is a massively diverse space. So, yes, he is willing to do anything, say anything just to get by. And that just tells you of a man that has character issues. So if you're not playing on the national stage and you have such character challenges, it's only a matter of time before you're found out. And you see, the reasons why Wike is weak going into this issue is because, one, he worked as a governor, so he could also have become socially conditioned. Being a governor, an emperor, nobody challenges. He comes to Abuja, continues the same. Of course, Nigerians will challenge him, and that's what you're seeing right now. So that challenge from
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I think because Dr. Catch is mobile, so we are having that network disruption. I don't know if you can hear me, Dr. Catch. Oh no, no, Jew. I don't know if you can hear me. Or
and it's
okay,
been made.
okay, all right. But a lot of people are arguing that there is no where Abuja would have over 2,000 hectares of land to allocate to anybody. You live in Abuja. What do you think about that? Because his media aid has debunked it. The story has it that he allocated over 2,000 hectares of land, about 2,000 hectares, another 40,000 plots in Maitama, Asokoro, Guzape, and other parts of Abuja, according to findings, and that he did not pay ground rent, title registration, and survey fees for these assets. And of course, this action also contravenes the
Well,
code of conduct for public officers as enumerated in the Nigerian constitution.
those things are normal. The beautiful
Oh, wait,
thing
wait. So
is
are
it
you
has
saying that
not been
it's
discovered.
normal for politicians to allocate land to their cronies? It's very normal.
Yes, yes, it is. It is normal for politicians to steal land in Abuja. None of them has been minister in Abuja in recent past without being guilty of that offense of stealing land for themselves and also giving to their cronies. So there's nothing new in what Wiki has done. It's just that Wiki has been exposed because of also the contentious issues about land in which he got to, like the revocation clause, the ideas of trying to even undermine embassy, and he's doing all that. Yes, he may have done things like that previously in Port Harcourt. That's River State, where people don't talk to him, they just ignore him knowing he's a governor. But you bring it to Abuja and Nigerians discover it, of course they will talk to you, of course they will expose you, of course they will tell you that they do not accept what you've done. So whether you like it or not, Wike now has his issue of kind of worms open in Abuja, and then we'll see how he's going to be able to defend this. But then, if we are still looking at the states being a conquered territory in terms of the current state capture of Nigeria, which right now is in Tinubu's hand, we may not see a lot come out of it. If Wike will be able to talk to the president and tell him this, that. But I welcome the interrogations of Wike's, records, and I believe every government official should understand that they have the right to interrogate their records. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing abnormal. Previous ministers have done the same thing. A lot of them became billion government land to friends and cronies, and that's what it is. So, if Wike has come and he's done the same, I don't think there's anything new in it. It's just that we now have something to hold on to interrogate his service records.
All right, so Dr. Kache, let me reveal more of these things because I don't know how many more politicians did to this level that Wiki has been alleged to have done. Because if that is it, then that means perhaps we're finished in Nigeria. According to officials, we hear that officials have estimated that the hectares Mr. Wike allocated to his son, along with certificate of occupancy, are worth $3.6 billion because a plot of land in Maitama and Asokoro, where Wike gave his son at least 7 hectares total, was recently sold for 1,028 and 1.28 and $1.4 million respectively, according to documents received by Gazzate. Now, people said that officials tried to tell Wike to calm down about it, and he brushed it off. Said he wants his sons to be the highest landowner in Abuja, in that he wants his children to be the largest landowners in the nation's capital, Abuja. Is there any other person in power, an El Rufai, any other person who in the past has been the FCT minister who went to this level to allocate properties like this to family members? Hey,
Yes, it's very difficult. It is difficult to find a minister who did not abuse his office in allocating land to himself and to members of his family. So I don't think that Wike has done anything that others have not done. It's simply for us to wait and see what the system will do in regards to this particular issue. Oh, I'm not going to run away. I would not be frightened. It has happened before. It has continued to happen. It has not yet stopped happening. This is Nigeria for you. So I don't think it is proper for us to start thinking that Wike is the first. No, Wike is not the first. This is what has always been. Erufai did the same thing.
Rufai?
That's why he owns a lot of choice land. Yes, he did. I'm aware. I know that. And I know a lot of the addresses. So I don't think Bala Muhammad did the same thing. People take this land, sell it to other people, and then make money, billions from it, and then they use that money to now run for elections. That is true. But Wike himself already has money, so what he probably wants is to build up his own real estate portfolio in his own name. As you saw, the company that was shown bore his son's name, Joaquin. And that's what it is. So for me, yes, I would say that the corruption has lingered for a very long time. Wike didn't start it. So if we have not caught Wike as also being a participant in those corrupt practices, it just enlarges the number. It doesn't mean he is the only one. So that is nothing new. It's an ongoing practice of government officials stealing land in FCT, allocating it for money to cronies who come to buy, and then they use that to raise massive financial profile, could they now use to do politics. That is the truth. And it's always been that way. No minister has come without stealing land and selling and making money for himself. But if Wike now is not only just giving to people who want to buy, but also acquiring for himself, that's all right. Then if you now interrogate him, let's look at what the law says about that. But then it would be a wrong thing for him to be now counseling people's plots only to allocate to himself and his son. I think that is totally wrong, and we have every right to interrogate such practices.
Okay, but his media aide has now debunked that and said it's a lie, that this is just the job and handiwork of those who want to malign the minister because of the good work he's doing. So it's a lie, it's not true. However, the People's, what do they call them now? The People's Gazette has also released documents, official documents, receipt, and this is official, to prove that it is true. But then, Wike's aid is debunking it that it is not true. In fact, that there is no way you can have a cumulative up to 2,800 hectares of land in Abuja to give to anybody. So that we shouldn't mind that it is not true at all.
There's nothing wrong with them showing the evidence, which I know is real. Of course, there is a lot of land. If you know Abuja, and a minister has a given can give out. And so if Wike has started doing his own, and of course you know Wike, he doesn't like to follow the law. He would love to do things and overdo them. So I'm not surprised. But then I can tell you that these are just the beginning, the beginning games in this accusation of Wike. So let us keep watching and see how this is going to go through. For me, this is what I call morning on a very long creation day. I don't put it
Hmm.
because you see, we see Wicked driving Rolls Royce. You see, that shows you he's a government official. He's not afraid to flaunt the proceeds from corruption in the public space. So I really don't see anything new in what he has done. All I will say is consider Wike the same way you consider other politicians and other big, people who come who get involved in crimes.
Okay, so just while I wrap up on this, the land was purportedly, some of the lands were purportedly given to a company that is, I think, Joac Farms and Estate Limited.
Joak, yeah, Joaquin.
Joac. Joac Farms. Okay,
Joachim,
Joaquin
yes.
Farms and Estate Limited. And then the Wike's aid has reacted and said that, oh, that particular
Name, come
company was
Joachim,
just
it's Wike's son's
from
name.
Wike's son's name. Absolutely. And then he refuted it and said that Joaquin was just in his words. Let me get his words correctly. He says in for avoidance of that, Joaquin Farms and Estate Limited, a company duly registered in Nigeria, got land allocation in Buari Area Council for the purpose of farming. So what is wrong with the farming with the farmer getting land? There's nothing wrong with that. That's what he said. But however, in another look or taking another look at Joachim, just like you just rightly stated, it shares the name of some Wike's cronies, like known Wike's cronies, like Mr. Chinda. I'm sure you know Mr. Chinda. Now, this is the CAC
Of
registration
course, Kingsley
details
Chinda,
of
well
exactly.
known friend of mine.
Exactly. Exactly. So I had to go check through the registration details of that company, and this is what I saw. In fact, the company is actually headquartered in Aba Road, Port Harcourt, River State. You can see that. You can see part of the owners of the land. It's really crazy, even after the debunking. But people have been able to eventually trace this to him. These are the details. I just thought to quickly let Nigerians know this so that it won't look like I'm carrying fake or false news, so that they see that indeed this stuff's perhaps I did my due diligence before taking on the story. So that's it. That's some of the evidences that perhaps connects the FCT minister to this. All right, I'd like us to move to other issues very quickly, sir. And then let's
Okay.
move to the issue of Lagos State demolishing Peter Obi's brother's property and now debunking it and saying that they don't have a hand in it. I don't know if you can jump in on that conversation because the Lagos State government today has denied any involvement in the controversial demolition of a property reportedly owned by the brother to Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi. Now, in a statement issued by the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Omotosho, the government described Obi's allegation as unverified and misleading. Now, the Lagos state government is compelled to address the recent allegations made by Mr. Peter Obi regarding a demolition. We wish to categorically state that the Lagos State Building Control Agency or any other agency of Lagos state government did not carry out the demolition. So, if they did not carry out the demolition, sir, who did? How possible is it that someone's house or a property like that will be brought down? Evidence in what we saw through P2B's videos. And then the Lagos state is saying that they are unaware of it. How possible is it that a state is governed and somebody else will come carry out such act in your state? Sincere apologies. I see you need to settle in, sir.
Well, these things are normal. What you're hearing is government speaking. There's nothing new in that. That's the way government talks. And I will tell you, if the government says they're not aware, that is what they will tell you. It could be a stupid decision by a rogue, agent of the government who didn't have the permission of the Lagos state government or did not get proper clearance from the Lagos state governor or whoever is in charge of such issues before they went to do what they did. That's what the government is trying to set up to do. Of course, Peter Obi would not say anything if it did not happen because he traveled to the site of this particular incident and stayed there, did pictures of it, and then sent to the world. So, yes, did that thing occur? Yes, it did occur. What the Lagos state government are probably trying to infer is that it was not done with their permission. Let us wait. Let us
So,
look at what happens
on
soon.
whose permission would the house be demolished without the state government's permission or
Well,
without the state
what's
government's consent?
if the Lagos state government is trying to tell us that there are rogue agents within the Lagos state government administration protocols that could do this kind of thing without proper clearance and instructions from, the constituted authority that should give instructions for this to be effected, then we would know. Because it's also possible that yes, there are rogue agents who simply say, "Oh no, no, Peter Obi's brother, knock it down." So let's just follow and listen to till, no matter what anybody says, Nigerians believe that the Lagos state government is not telling us everything that it knows. Because if the erasure of properties can go on like this in Lagos without proper, you know, uh, 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 instrumentation and proper instructions and proper permissions obtained, then that tells you it could happen to other people that we don't know if it also could happen to Peter Obi. So that's what I think. This is very, very bad. And it tells you how very bad the toxicity of the government's attack against Mr. Peter Obi is. I know that the system is afraid of Peter Obi. We
You
know
think so?
because they know the truth
You think
about
so?
well, of course, I know so. The government is aware of Peter Obi's performance in the last elections, and they know he is their main problem, not Atiku. Never mind the fraudulent things that what's his name called? INEC wrote. Those things don't mean nothing. We know Peter Obi was the man of the last election. So if acrobatically they refuse to allow the result to stand, and somehow they now brought Tinubu and imposed Tinubu, good. Tinubu would not forget that the position he holds is like Abacha. Abacha never let Abiola rest because they knew, even though they didn't allow Humphrey Musu to announce the election results, Abiola was the person that they had to be afraid of. So if the government today is afraid of P2B, they know a lot about the true numbers of the voting results than they are willing to admit to the general public.
Okay. All right. Let's quickly move on because we have quite a lot to cover up today. So we'll leave that Peter B's issue, but Papa House will come back to it later on. But let's move to the issue of the coalition. And so here that there is currently a cloud of confusion over the future of the coalition being championed by Vice President or former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, since he just mentioned his name, and including Peter Obi too, Chibike Amechi, Nasser El-Rufai, that's especially in the political party that they would adopt, right? So this is amid the recent announcement of the proposed All Democratic Alliance, that is ADA, which is still awaiting registration by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Other members of the coalition include, of course, I mentioned Rotimi Chibike and the rest of them. Now, the coalition, according to RFI, was set up basically to remove Tinubu from power no matter what happens. Now, in line with this, there has been discussion surrounding the adoption of political parties as as the coalition's official vehicle. But whilst they were looking at registering a political party, INEC has now discovered that there are two political parties in the name of ADA, the same name, the supposed political party that the coalition is looking at using or adopting. And then, mind you, there was also a report earlier in the week that there are infiltrations already by the ruling party on the ADA. That is that the ruling party is also looking at possible ways to ensure that they perhaps truncate registration of the ADA, maybe by registering one before it or something like that. We can't tell. So how come there are now two of all the political parties that are seeking for registration? Only ADA has two registrations. What could be going on? What drama do you think is playing out with the
Anything
coalition?
can happen. Anything can happen. What we are seeing is we are having a postmortem of the monster created by people like Erufai, Buhari, and all who worked with them. You know, why I read Erufai the other day that his job is he wants to undo the devil he did.
The
It's
evil.
good that yes, it's good that he's now confessing about the evil that he did. But I want you to understand that that evil he is confessing he did hurt a lot of Nigerians and also undermined our democracy. So that's and there were a lot of the people there, as your people you actually see, who now come together for meeting as members of coalition, and the people that actually instrumented this evil upon the country. You see, they didn't
Hmm.
understand it. Yeah, you had me.
But
These are
Atiku
the
did not
people
bring in
who
Atiku
did
did not bring in
bring
Tinubu.
about this.
Amechi did not bring in Tinubu. At least from the
Yes,
little we
Atiku
know.
did.
Atiku did.
Yes, Amechi did. Yes, Amechi
How?
did. Yes, Atiku did. Let me
Okay.
explain. In 20,
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. I do hope that we can have a clearer network just about when the conversation is trying to get interesting.
13, Atiku it, he called it coalition, the same coalition. And
Yeah, the
that coalition then,
NPDP. Hmm.
yes, it was the MPDP coalition that became a caucus in the PDP. And that particular caucus, we refused to join it because at that time, I was a principal counsel to President. And Atiku said that we must zoning, that it's about inclusion, that it is something like the quota system, an affirmative action protocol to make sure the note is included. And that good luck that it is not the turn of the note. It was Atiku. He was at the head of that caucus called MPDP. The inside that caucus was Chibika Mechi. And that was how all of them, together with Tinubu, Buhari, and all, floated that coalition called the APC. That coalition got to power, as we all know. What you can say now is when they got to power, Atiku didn't have the patience to wait on what his creation will bring. When he saw that Tinubu Buhari was preparing to run for a second term, he now left that coalition called APC and ran back to PDP. The PDP recognized that the reason why he left was because of his complaint of the inclusion of the North and
Hmm.
allowed only Northerners to run for the 2019 election
2019.
in the
Absolutely.
PDP.
Hmm.
That was why nobody from the South competed against Atiku. Atiku emerged. Now, he didn't win, or he won, but he wasn't strong enough to get it from Buhari, who
Buhari did.
published results he won, and Atiku ran away to Dubai. Now, at the end of the 8 years of Buhari, Nigerians expect Atiku to understand that the soup he helped to cook has matured for 8 years. It is now the turn of the South to cook their own soup, which is using zoning to allow the thing to go. And when Atiku refused, it was Atiku's refusal to allow the South inclusion after 8 years of the North that forced us in the PDP out of anger to start what you can today call the youth movement, which transmuted into the obedient movement when we got Peter Obi to agree to head that movement. So Atiku is part and parcel of the problems that has gotten us where we are. If Atiku had respected inclusion, I don't think he would have been running for election in a way that would have damaged the opposition. It was because Atiku refused to respect the right of the South to become president after 8 years of the North. That was why we left, specifically me and Doyin Okukpe. We left the party and we started the youth movement. Because Doyin asked me, what do we do? I said, listen, the North have done 8 years. We're not getting younger. Let us do this for the South because what we do, we're in the public space. I and him get front row seats in front of television. I recognize the clout that I had. So I started that crusading for the Southerner, but I had no candidate. So after we now built some quality of understanding among some people came to join us. That's why today when I see someone like my friend who came from APC to join me, like Kenneth Okonkwo, and I said, what is he doing? He doesn't even know the reason why we did the obedient movement. He's now running to go, he's going to work with Atiku. Maybe they bought him to come and speak. I said, no, Kenneth, the reason why we did the movement is to force inclusion. Because people like Atiku and some others in the North, with the Fulani mindset of not allowing another people participation, because I believe the Fulani success over the Hausa since the British left makes them to think that the other parts of the country will also respect them extrapolatically, also playing their success over the Hausa states in the rest of the country. I don't think so. That will amount to colonialism of the settler form. And that's why we said we cannot allow one tribe to rule for 18 years, for 16 years. And that's what it will be if Buhari, who identifies as a Fulani, is allowed to be succeeded by Atiku, who also identifies as a Fulani. So why should we have Fulani politicians rule this country for 16 years? That was why we said no, and that was why we started the youth movement. Secondly, the Fulani war across the Sahel had just come to Nigeria, and because it was betting in Nigeria, I believe since Buhari could not control the Fulani militiamen who were coming from Mali, Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, and other places to fight in Nigeria, that no Fulani politician can be trusted to hold down the Fulani militiamen. As you can now see in the Northwest, the governors and politicians are even allowing the Fulani militias and terrorists to sit on top of the table because they think they can now use the militiamen to hold land. Because historically, the Fulanis do not have the land, they don't have the numbers to maintain their positions of entitlement that have been their mainstay since the British left. So for me, it is bigger than that. And there were people in the South who didn't understand this strategy. It was even during that period when Atiku started influencing behaviors in mosque to say that nobody should vote for anybody from Eastern
Eh?
Nigeria. We came in panic. You heard me well. Let me repeat it now. Atiku was responsible for the actions in a lot of mosques across the north, where they were preaching in mosque that nobody should vote for anybody from Eastern Nigeria. This was what forced Wike into panically trying to now get into heritage denial. How can you start denying heritage? Iguacha, which is today renamed Port Harcourt from 1913 to honor Lord Vernon Harcourt, Iguacha is part of the Arab Confederacy's territory, which lasted from 1640 to 1903. They were only defeated after the Anglo-Arab Wars. And that was why, after that, the British now from 1901 started national district officers. Nobody had anything like DCs or DOs before 1901. It was in 1901 that the British defeated the Arab Confederacy. And when the Confederacy was in power, Iguacha, today's Port Harcourt, was a principal port of the Arab Confederacy. Quote me. Everybody in River State today were under the Arab Confederacy. The only people who were not under the Arab Confederacy are the Ogonis, who were brought there after the Emancipation Proclamation. Because the Ogonis are historically of the Bantu Congo stock. They came, and as the slave trade ended, they were brought back from Warri and from Bonny and situated where they are today in the greater Port Harcourt area. So we now said, why will Wike, my brother, be denying heritage? Because he was seeking for acceptance. And when now, despite his denying being Igbo, they didn't accept him, he now, out of anger, said he would destroy that house. Which, whether he like it or not, it is money from the south that has kept the PDP going. All of them who run for election, from Yaradua to whoever, money from the south, and mostly from that old eastern region, is what powers the the PDP. So why wouldn't you allow Eastern region participation in a game of inclusion premised on zoning? And that's why you see a lot of us from the East got angry. Wike was angry, insisting on what he's doing. If you ask him that, he'll say yes. He insists it has to come to the South. I also said yes, it had to come to the South. And we did it, and then we were able to get Peter Obi to declare and agree to run on our platform, which was called the Obedient Movement. I am doing
Okay, sir.
Okukwe, and that's what the truth
Okay, sir.
is. So
Sir.
that's why you see the anger still persists.
Okay. But
Yes.
sir, many would say that people had said that before, especially someone like Dele Momodu had said that. I had to quote source, so you get me, that Atiku was of the opinion that the PDP ticket in 2023, remember that the chairman of the zoning committee at that time was Wike's friend, Samuel Otom of Benue State, that Atiku was of opinion that the PDP ticket be micro-zoned to southeast, but that it was Wike who insisted that it just be zoned to the south, knowing that amongst all the governors in the south, amongst all the people in the south, he has more wealth in terms of money to get Ghana the delegates to vote for him, and that would have been disenfranchised a Peter Obi. Peter Obi would not stand a chance to win a Wike in primaries. So that Atiku wouldn't have contested if Wike had agreed that the ticket be micro zoned to southeast, but Wike just wanted it to be zoned to the south so that he can participate. Because if it was microzone to the southeast, Wike cannot participate. Are you countering this particular allegation right now?
Those things you hear are just rhetorics. They are lies. When we had it first, we privately sent somebody from mainstream media to Atiku to say publicly. He denied it. He checked away. Those are social media planted lies. It's not true. If Atiku is such a person, why is he not now allowing it to come to the East? Ask yourself. Today. How come he's still insisting he must be present?
Is
He
he
must run.
insisting?
It has to be
I
him.
thought there may be agreement that he
Of
will adopt
course.
somebody from the south to run.
Leave that story. Listen, forget that story. I know Atiku more
Oh
than you
wow.
do. And I'm in front of the game. These people, Dele Momodu, was he a member of our party? He's not now. Dele Momodu is not a PDP. He just joined. These are just hired people. They were people who were never part of us. Dele Momodu, Kenneth Okonkwo, all these people were just there to work for Atiku. So they would just parrot these things. When we heard that story that Atiku saying he should go to Southeast, we privately sent journalists from mainstream media to go talk to Atiku, denied it. Check any of the mainstream media papers. You will not see it. Those things are social media stories. If Atiku is real, what they will do is say, fine, zone it to the south. And all of them in the north, the same amount of energy, because they will all participate in the primary. They will then participate and make sure it is zoned to the southeast. Nobody did that. It was because Atiku refused. Him and other people refused. Let me take you back. The issue of Abiola's June 12th. It's the same thing. When they finish ruling in the north and they want it to now come to the south, some of them will come together and say, no, that was how the June 12th was annulled by a band of northerners who
Fulani
didn't want
militia.
it.
It's not.
It's the
It's a
same
statement of
thing.
fact.
It has gotten to the issue of the party. Now you can see it. If Atiku say that is what happened, what about today, today? Now, this is June. Make statement you support the South is easy. He knows very well that the party is about now to make an open statement to zone the presidency to the South. That's why, not allowing the party to say it in, he now pulls out, he wants to do coalition. We said no problem. But the fundamental reasons why we left to start the youth movement, which we later got Peter Obi to head, still persist. So whether you make the argument in the party, like we made the argument in party the 2019, that the reasons the Northerners left with Atiku to form MPDP and then work to bring Buhari to power was because of zoning. So that was why we considered everything to the Northerners. 2019 now is now. If you realize that the mistake of the party in 2023 was not respecting the zoning, say it now. If Atiku says this tomorrow, in realization of my mistake of 2023, I hereby support that the zoning goes to 22 southeast. Check what will happen. The party will be peaceful. That's why you're hearing Northerners begging him. The last Northerner that talked to him was Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed. Everybody's been begging him. Leave this thing for the South. He refuses. What you're seeing now is the true Atiku. Don't listen to people talk crap, people who are not part of us. I am a member till today of the PDP. I've not left. I started the youth movement because I learned from Atiku the way he did MPDP. So we did the youth movement, and then we were able to get Peter. We had hunted Peter. Peter came, and Peter was never part of what we were doing. Peter refused to go against Atiku. He told me that privately, and I saw in him a polite Catholic gentleman. But later on, we were successful in blackmailing Peter for Peter to agree to run. And when he ran, the rest they say is history. So what we are saying is, if you're now talking about us sitting down outside the party to sit down to talk, you have to do an honest postmortem of why we left the party and started the youth movement, which you later got Peter to head, which you now call the obedient movement. If you now want us to bring back that youth movement back to aid the party and then help to rebuild the party, it's very easy. Put Peter there, zone to the south. And we couldn't do that zoning because forget all the stories you hear about who is somebody's friend. Atiku paid 100 million to our party to take nominations. When he took that
No, no,
nomination,
by
the
your
100
party, sir.
million
By
was
your
with
party, sir. What
us,
party are you talking about? The PDP. So he gave
PDP.
100 million to PDP.
He gave us 100 million to collect nomination form. When he did that, gave us that money, the party didn't have money.
Okay.
So when the party didn't have money, the party was now using that thing. I was amongst members of Ohaneze Imobi, Ohaneze Elders Forum. I am a member of the Ohaneze Elders Council. I went with the Ohaneze president. We were led that time by Professor George Obiozo. We went to visit the PDP chairman at his home in Maitama. And we spoke. Privately, the chairman took me aside, said, Kachi, I said, sir, he said, listen, this man has given us money, and we're using that money now to run the party. If any of you want us to change zoning, you will have to find a way to give us this money that the man gave us. And we're using the money. That is just the truth. The man was honest. The man later on, because they were spending the money, all those things couldn't happen. The problem with Wike is Wike doesn't have good press. So he couldn't get his own story out. That's why they told those stories and they put it on him as if he is the issue. He's not the issue. Wike is only a reaction to Atiku. Atiku Abubakar is the problem of the PDP, not Wike. Wike is simply a reaction. What about me and Doyin Okukpe, who finally ruled Peter Obi out? Are we also not part of it? We are reacting to Atiku. That's just the truth. If Atiku had done what an elder statesman will do, realizing that he was part of those who built a coalition that brought Buhari to power, and realizing that Buhari's 8 years was on behalf of North, he would have allowed the zoning to take place, supported it to the south, zoned to the south, the same way he was able to amass them, work with Peter, get it to the southeast. And that's all. There is no way Wike will have defeated. After all, he defeated Wike at the primary. So he could have used such clout to defeat Wike, added to Peter and other people from the southeast and other people around him. This is the party's position. But when the party's leadership was weak, we suffered it. And because we suffered it, our party, the position became broken. Because it was broken, you can see right now, the democracy doesn't even have a very low position because the opposition currently is divided. And that's the problem. So a divided opposition in a democracy not only imperils the democracy, it undermines active governance in the country. You can see it now. Governors are running the other side because they are afraid. The APC have not been very sincere in terms of respecting the protocols of free and fair election. And that's why most first-time governors are afraid that their state could be snatched from them are now running over to the APC so that they can feel comfortable for their re-election. That's what's going on. But who caused it? Atiku Abubakar. Let Atiku Abubakar, he's now 80 years old. Let him leave. What he's playing at is trying to maximize advantage from the fraudulent creation of states by the army. But we have data to know that we know how to defeat everything that he has done. What we did with Peter Obi is called ethnic penetration. We don't stay in Abuja and give the say-sos to one man who could be anybody to look after Benue, look after Taraba, look at Plateau, look at Niger. No, we were going to the people, person by person, one by one, tribe by tribe, ethnicity by ethnicity. We made the Jaba on their own. We made the Jamba on their own. We made the Birom on their own. We talked to TV people on their own. Peter Obi went to see TV people who were displaced, who were living in IDP camps. Atiku couldn't go. Tinubu couldn't go because they were afraid of offending the Fulani people who were in power, and Buhari was running because the war that time we saw it. We saw the ethnic cleansing. That was the result that they have embraced as a way to gain land. So we knew that in the Middle Belt, houses are being killed, TV people are being killed in the Benue Valley. The people of Kaka and the Pansa were being killed in the Mambila Plains. And we saw that the Biroms were being displaced in Plateau. We met these people one-on-one. We did what we called ethnic penetration. We know those ethnic doesn't have to do with North and South. No, it does with Nigerians one-on-one. And that's what we did. And we do it again. So we don't believe all this crap they are talking about. If Atiku is sincere, let him do what everybody's telling him. Announce that we want to do, can only do it together as a united opposition, not as one gang leading. No, let us have an inclusive country. Atiku is not fair. He became a Nigerian in 1961. And after that, because Atiku was originally born in German Cameroon. So after the Second World War, Germany lost Cameroon to the Allies, who now shared it among the French and the English. So the English now merged in 1961 through the plebiscite, their own part of Cameroon and the north with northern Nigeria. And that's how Atiku became a Nigerian. And I think he has had enough. So let him understand we are doing nation building where inclusion of all parts of Nigeria is utmostly important. And that's what we're saying. All this crisis is about the attempt by certain people to exclude the East. That
Okay,
was the reasons why
going
we
back
came
to
out of
going
fear.
back to that accusation,
Yes.
Peter Obi is actively part of this coalition led by Atiku Abubakar. Every meeting that they have held, Peter Obi has attended, and we saw videos and evidences of him attending such meetings. How is it that Peter Obi may not be aware of these plans that you're talking about, and he's still attending such meetings?
Peter Obi knows. Peter Obi is aware. But the idea he's doing is let it not be that he's the one who won't attend and is not going to go there to damage the coalition. He said, let him attend. Because even before he did the first meeting, some of them foolishly exposed what was in their mind. It's okay, Peter's coming. I think you present Peter VP. And that was what made me to put out some circulars to say no, that we members of the Biden movement will not support Peter Obi if he ever goes there to become second fiddle. And that stands till this minute. So we say the only way we want a Nigeria of Peter Obi's dream, the only way it can be implemented is if Peter Obi is at the head of that thing. Secondly, we needed to also allow inclusion. You can't put one Fulani man after 8 years of one Fulani president. No. Allow inclusion. And right now that you have this Fulani war across Nigeria, it will be dangerous to allow a Fulani politician as president, because he will not, like Buhari, be able to stop the Fulani militias who are currently killing along the Benue Basin, in the Plateau Ranges, the Taraba areas. Of course, you know the story about Kaduna State. And this is what we're saying. Since you people have done 8 years, allow this thing that's already in the South for 2 years now to continue being in the South. So there's nothing wrong with Peter Obi attending the coalition meetings. But I can tell you here for sure, Peter Obi will not run as vice president to anybody. The earlier those attending the meeting understand, the better. Peter is attending the meeting so that he will be able to learn all the people, talk to them, and then later on, if Atiku refuses, you can be able to convince them one-on-one on his own. That's what we're doing. Peter Obi will never gain our support if he falls our
Okay.
hands. And the only thing we want is that he will run. So that's it. We started in 2023. It has now grown big. What I can tell you is that we can now include more people who didn't believe what we're doing was going to work. Now that they have seen the efficacy of our calibrations, we just beg them to come. Let us build a new Nigeria. As you can
Okay.
see,
So,
Tinubu
sir,
still does not have a strategy on how to deal with the Fulani war across Nigeria. Because for
so
him to go to Benue and be telling them it is communal clash, that tells you there is something ethically wrong with the intelligence that Tinubu, as president, is getting from those who are advising him from the intelligence field.
okay, we'll get to the security issue. There's a lot to talk about security, but I'd love us to, round up with the political aspect of this conversation before we get to the security. Now, speaking about the political aspect, you did mention Doyin Kube joining you and all that. Someone has even reminded me here now that Doyin Kube, at the end of the day, left your bloc to join the ruling party, the APC, before he died. And then also, how do you think? A lot of people have said that no, Tinubu is not an easy win. It's not somebody you win easily in politics. So, how do you think that going without the opposition being united again, that it will be easy to win a Bola Ahmed Tinubu, especially as an incumbent? How do you think that would happen? Because with the look of things now, there may be a likelihood that an El Rufai and Atiku Abubakar may form their own coalition, and Peter Obi may go his own way. So then, how possible is it for an Atiku, a Tinubu to be defeated?
Tinubu is a politician. Don't forget, there was a time we had somebody stronger than Tinubu. The man's name is Sani Abacha. Everybody was afraid of what will happen. But you saw how it all happened. Abacha left. There was a time everyone was afraid of Babangida. But at the end of the day, he left. So it's the aggregated strength and passion from the people that sees these outcomes. Tinubu is not impossible. Tinubu is human. Remember what Amechi said, how Kano State decided this governorship. The people voted and stood there. And when the government people called to try to change the result, and they saw that
You
you had
march
up to
down.
500 people on the field, on the streets, they clamp down. So people accept that politicians will make our votes not count. That's when it will work. But when we the people vote and stand there and say our vote must count, and we then don't have leaders who try to dissuade us, politicians will respect what we want. It is when we don't want it and then we go home to relax. People in Kanu, do they have two heads? No. So that Kanu has shown us how to do it. We can do it. Nothing is impossible. If we want to vote and say our votes will count, how many people will they kill? That's what you understand. And nobody wants to kill people like that, because throwing a stone into the marketplace, it could hit your mom, it could hit somebody you know. This is the issue. Once we want to have our voices respected by government, we vote, we will stay there. We know how to do it. What I do, I mobilize. I mobilize. Peter asked me, you tell me to do this, what does it cost? I said, don't worry about what it costs. 10% of what you spent in Port Harcourt is all I know. I don't want nothing. Just say yes. So when you see some people say, Peter Obi let me down, because they don't know what we're doing. I am grateful. Peter Obi listened to what we said and agreed, changed his mind, and came to head what we're doing. So for me, I owe him thank you. It is those who came in to come and join us, maybe from APC or somewhere else, that are now looking for something. They don't get to say, Peter Obi, they supported me. They're not part of what we're doing. Kenneth Okonkwo, it's not part of us. He doesn't know what he came from APC to join us. He wasn't part of what we're doing. Never. So if he now goes and Atiku now offers him money to be working for him and he start talking like this, I don't take such
Are
people
you
seriously.
insinuating that he may have taken money for Atiku and he's working for Atiku right now? Is that what you're saying, sir?
My brother, if you see a politician who is not in one place, don't forget who Kenneth is. He's a movie man. He works with the entertainment industry. For him to leave it and now come to politics where we are, you need to have that staying power. I have staying power. I'm a contented person. All my children have left university. So what am I doing again? I live in my own house. I'm talking to you now from my house. I built with my own money. And I don't have an EFCC case. So why will anybody frighten me? So I don't need anything from anybody. That's why I can tell you what I want to tell you. If government wants to come and revoke me from my life, waiting again, I'm happy with my young wife. My children are all very happy. So what else do you want? If you're contented with yourself, you wouldn't be messed up with threats by other parties. What for? Another human being tell me what to do. When I decided, I said, this is what I'll do. I talked to Peter. Peter said no. But later on, after I have complained to people like Okwadike, Chief SNO Keke, they called him and said, how can you say no? Why are you? Peter said what? And I can tell you so. We forced him.
So
We
Peter B
did.
didn't want to
We
contest in
did.
2023. Is that what you're saying?
He never wanted to contest against Atiku.
Oh,
Never.
oh, so he
Never.
was so loyal to
He never
Atiku.
wanted to go
So he
against
was so
Atiku.
loyal to Atiku that he never
He
wanted to contest at the same time with Atiku.
against Atiku. That
Oh
was just the
wow.
truth. And that I found out. First, I got angry. There were some of my friends like Namde Dixon. When I was happy, I said, calm down. This is a game. There are ways to do it. I know I have done these things before. In 2010, I did the same thing with my friend and brother, Hope Uzodimma. I told him to run. He refused. I know what I did. I went and printed posters. He was denying it until 2 months. He called me. He said, okay, why are you doing this? I said, run. Today, he's governor Nimo. So sometimes politicians need people to make up minds for them. Sometimes they are careful, calculating other things, but it is your sincerity, your purpose that they will look at. And they said, what do you mean? I said, run. Run. Let us have one of us on that placard. This one, he said, I said, run. And he agreed to run. And this is where we are today. So where are you going to go back? So he had somebody say, Peter, disappoint you for what? Were you part of us? Kenneth Okonkwo was never part of us. He was not part of. We formed what we formed in the PDP. Kenneth Okonkwo was in APC. He's not part of us now. So how can you come to people to be disappointed? You disappointed you for what? You came and joined us. Did you ask us what we're doing? You just want to follow any wave that is on without knowing the fundamentals that actually staged and in place that particular movement. It was anger. People took the anger in different ways. You could see how wicked it is doing with that anger. It is because of that anger he says, okay, this thing where you say that we spent money to build, you say it won't be useful to us. Let us destroy it. That is what Wike is doing right now,
So
whether you like it or
what's the
not. But there are
what's the state
reasons.
of the PDP right now? It doesn't have any chances of surviving.
Oh, yes, it does. By November, the tenure of the current people will be over. Nothing lasts forever. So when those tenures are over, they will go. You
You
go back to
think
convention
Wike would
and
not leech on PDP and continue because Wike,
what does
a lot
Wike?
of people see
Wike is not an
Wike as someone
official.
who fights to finish.
Listen to me. Gara gara will end when the tenure of the current party executives end. People who are executives, they are statute mandated to rest work. It's not by force. It's not by force. So people
Okay.
should respect
So
what's going on and don't try to force us into doing what we don't want to do.
so are you saying that if that happens, then that means the PDP may have chances of being a formidable opposition in 2027, sir?
If that happens and the PDP starts behaving, it took the governors this long, 2 years, before they woke up to try to do something. Good. You can see some gentlemen, my friends and brothers who still follow Wiki, like Okezi Ekpazo, like Gburuburu. There are no more governors, so they can't say what happens. So yes, the only person who is governor there in their old gang is Sheyi Makinde. And right now, I don't think Sheyi is on the same page with Wiki. This is how these things work. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever in life. Nothing lasts forever. So when the tenure of this current executive ends and they go away and new people come, then we can start afresh to look at. And for all I know, the governors have assured me that they will make sure that the presidency is zoned to the south. So that's what we're looking at. So let us wait and look at it. So even if the ADA is not registered, we can work with PDP, but let us wait.
Hmm.
Let us
Okay,
wait.
now you did mention the ADA, the Fulani thingy, and all that. You do recall that Hakim Baba Ahmed had mentioned a few stuffs which appeared like a threat. Like one of the things he said is that nobody will rig the 2027 election, as you know, that the 2027 election cannot be rigged, or nobody will rig it and go scot free, something like that. And then he also did mention that he is of the opinion that most of these old school politicians should leave the stage for younger ones. He mentioned Atiku Abubakar one. He mentioned Chibuike Amechi. He mentioned Peter Obi too. So if Atiku is not running, Peter Obi is not running, Amechi is not running, perhaps El Rufai will not run too. So who are the new, vibrant and young politicians that would likely lead the opposition in 2027? Is Shawari, for instance, could it be?
Shawari is not a politician.
Sir, what
So
is it?
Shawari is not a politician. Shawari is just running as a spoiler. I don't think he's running to win because if you check, he works alone. Doesn't even work with anybody. Do you see him do anything with anybody? No,
He's
he's just on
working
his
with the
own.
youth. He's working with the youth because he doesn't
What
want to be
youth?
involved with
Put
the
youth,
corrupt
youth
people.
of where?
The people in system now are corrupt. He said he doesn't want to
If
be
they are
involved with the
working with
corrupt.
the youth, how come the youth are with Peter? Ask yourself. If
Mm.
Shawari is with the youth, how come the youth are with Peter Obi? So forget those things. We know who is who. I was in this politics before they came to join us. So please, we have serious fundamental national issues. We've gotten to a place. There are people who come here, they don't know what the problem is. We're trying to build an inclusive Nigeria where everybody, despite what the soldiers try to do, will now have his own aspirations. Embrace.
Oh dear, network. I think network has booted our guest out.
I'm
Hello,
good.
Dr. Olajuju. Yes, you're good.
Yes, I'm
So
here.
go ahead,
What
sir.
I'm saying is Hakim Baba Ahmed has made his opinion, and we've heard that. It is left for the people he's talking to listen. My own opinion is that nobody should be excluded. Everybody should respect the need for inclusion. We are now at another June 12th period when Babangida ruled, and then when it got to the turn of the South, some politicians in the North made sure it was annulled, and the Southerner who won was not given. The same thing happened in 2023 when it got to the turn, and we voted with Peter. Buhari refused, annulled the election, and acrobatically announced Tinubu midnight. We didn't worry. We moved on with it.
You
So
think Barry was responsible for that, sir?
Buhari is the man at the head of the party. The buck stops on his table. He is the executive president of Nigeria. It was under Buhari that the voter suppression happened. It was under Buhari that all the violence happened. So you're not going to call someone else. No, there were no two people in power. Only Buhari was in power. And during his time, he had this ethnic cabal controlling the police, the DSS, the army, the INEC, and the presidency. And that was how they combinedly brought their efforts to annul the people's vote. And when we say why the annulment, they said glitch. You can see the same glitch reoccurring again in the examinations of our children. It is due to our complaint that they now redid it. So whatever it is, Nigeria right now is captured, and that under that state capture, you're seeing what is going on, which a lot of us are not happy about. So what can we do? I have said it. If the Northerners are now willing to zone the president to the south, since Buhari has done 8 years for the north, Tinubu can rule forever. That's what I said. That because why? Tinubu is a southerner. uh You can't tell me what has Tinubu done. I can tell you, yes, even though I'm not happy, he has 4 ministers from Ogun State and 5 ministers for the southeast. Tinubu have stopped the unknown government sting operation in the east. That, as far as I'm concerned, was a government sting operation perpetrated by elements of the Buhari
Oh,
administration.
oh,
As I'm
sir.
talking to you today, the unknown government sting operation, though no more occurs in the East. Because why? The current administration has stopped all federal fundings for that sting operation. So if you ask me what has Tinubu done for the East, I will tell you unknown government sting operation has ended. And for me, that is a plus. For me, that is a take home. So it's not totally no dear for us. No, there are also some take homes I can tell you I have gotten since Tinubu became president, even though I condemn his continued embrace of nepotism as policy of his state. That's why I say that it is wrong for Ogun State to have 4 ministers and the Southeast have 5. It is wrong, very, very wrong. And I condemn nepotism in all forms, as I condemned it during the
Okay.
Buhari
All
presidency.
right, sir. There's quite a lot for us to talk about this, and 2027 is still a long time to come. I do not know how much time both the coalition, Peter Obi, and the rest people would have before the election. It's a lot of people are worried, especially the obedience or people who support Peter Obi, because INEC just listed names of some political parties that are seeking for registration yesterday, and the obedience, incidentally, were part of the organizations seeking to register a political party. Are you aware of that, sir?
Yes, I am aware of the news around ADA and what it is that they are doing in regards to registration, multiplicity of I've heard everything INEC said. I also spoke to some people at INEC this afternoon to get their final issues and where we are, because you cannot be a principal player without getting first-hand information from some of these people. So sometimes it don't just depend on what you read on the social media, because that's the only way you get the truth. You will subtract, minus, and then add, then you will be able to arrive. So whenever the news breaks, I normally cool down to listen more before I can get the real thing that I
Okay.
can go to bed
All right,
with.
sir. I like us to get straight to the security issues now. Now, a lot has been happening lately with security in the country. In fact, recently, about 20 of us who just were killed in Niger State, and a lot of people have reacted to that. As I speak to you now, we hear that bandits have captured and taken control of Kankara local government area in Katsina State. Incidentally, the state of the immediate past president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. And then last week, Friday, there was a report of the killing of Hausa Muslims who were traveling for a wedding in Plateau State. And they were killed in Mango local government area of Plateau State. And a week before that, over 200 people were massacred in Yawata, Benue State, or Guma local government area of Benue State. Now, all of these incidences just, keeps reoccurring. Where are we in insecurity in this country? I'd like you to speak to that. Then I begin to, throw some facts based on other interviews I've had in the past on this show.
What you're trying to describe is the failure of the APC administration to get a grip on the insecurity. The insecurity was aided mostly by Buhari and those around him. Don't forget that it was Buhari that the terrorists mentioned that he could negotiate for them. When Buhari became president, Buhari now started a program of de-radicalization, of taking a lot of these terrorists and embedding them into the army, which is what I call the Afghanistization of our security services. Today, you now hear Governor Zulum saying that it is those people that Buhari embedded into security services that are now giving information to the terrorists that they used to work with. And that's why you say about issues of Kankara. Kankara is a place where, when the crisis started during the Buhari period, I traveled to Kankara. I went from Kwatarakwashe, and that's when I reported on channels that on the Kwatarakwashe Kankara Huntua road, going from Huntua then to Bridingwari, that I saw Hausa youth blocking the road at Kankara because their people were being killed in Kankara and the president wasn't doing anything. I remember that I reported to the country about my work in that area on channel television. And Buhari didn't do it. The more you talk about these people, calling them terrorists, a lot of the Fulani politicians and elite are interested in protecting these people you call terrorists. So you see, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. The problem most of the Fulanis have is number. They don't have numbers in a democracy. If you look at places like Kano, Katsina, Zamfara, and Sokoto, those places have populations of up to 80 to 90,000 houses. I mean,
Appreciate.
90% houses. Most Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kano, these are core Hausa states, no mix. Those states have up to 85 to 90% of the people, indigenous people, as houses. So when the Fulanis were asking for land to resettle their refugees who were escaping from the war in central Mali, in Mopti, in between the Fulani.
Oh dear, I think our network is.
Here, President Buhari has done before when Israel invaded East Lebanon. The Lebanese who came here, we harbored them as refugees, quartered them in Apapa, quartered them in Kano, in Benin. Buhari wants to take the Fulani refugees from Central African Republic who came over here during the time of Gabriel Suswan. Suswan refused to give them land. That was why when Buhari came, and then there was a crisis in Mali. At the 2015, there was a 2015 peace agreement to resettle those Fulanis back in central Mali. But no, so Fulani leaders impressed on Buhari that they should be brought here and be resettled in Nigeria. And I spoke against that. Why? Nigerians, like other Africans, are emotionally attached to land. So when Buhari couldn't get the land, you know, all those schemes, scams to get land, try to talk about grazing reserve, we said no, because it was land he was looking for. Then he talked about cow colony, we said no, it was still land. Then they said, okay, they will do national livestock development program. The federal government will bring money, the states will bring land. It was as if it was serious. The vice president was in charge. But after the election in 2019, Nigerians now saw a PAMSEC was giving out LPOs to build Ruga. They said, no, this is not what, and that was how that thing fell apart. Buhari now continued to try to gain land, suggesting at the National Assembly a bill to consolidate underground and surface water plus 6 kilometers of embarking land. That means 3 kilometers on each side. So they will get land, they gain water, and all for that to resettle these refugees, because the Fulani refugees will not be resettled anywhere if there's no water there. Any land you give them, there must be water, or they won't stay. And that's why I see restated on the national television, there is nowhere in Nigeria where Nigerians are leaving their areas and seeking to now relocate to somewhere else. So everybody you see looking for land are not Nigerians. And because a lot of us Nigerians were honestly ignorant about this, if you stay in Port Harcourt, you stay in Yenagoa, you stay in Enugu or Owerri, and you see these people come down, you would think they're coming from the north. No, they're coming from other countries in Africa. They're not Nigerians. This is our problem. So when Nigerians refuse to yield land, they now devise a strategy of trying to use violence through ethnic cleansings to gain land so as to resettle these people. I will tell you something. Under Nigerian law, if you are found in custody of stolen property, you can be arrested. So that's why I think anybody who is on those lands that have been stolen by killing of the indigenous people, as the governor of Plateau State told us, most of the lands are being renamed by these new occupiers. So let the governor give us a list of those places being renamed. We'll go there, arrest the people on those land, and that's how you know these are the people who engineered the killing of the indigenous people, move those who were not killed into IDP camps, and then from moving them to IDP camp, people will now come to take over the land. So that I say is easy for us to do. Look at
So
Benue
why are we not
State.
doing that in
Be-
Nigeria? Why have successive administrations not done that? I mean, if Buhari, you said, was silent about that because it's a Fulani,
Very,
why is
very
President Bola
simple.
Tinubu not
Buhari,
doing that?
well, President Bola Tinubu, you will ask yourself, Tinubu was going to Benue. Instead of going there to look at how foreigners are killing Nigerians through ethnic cleansing, Tinubu was talking about communal clashes. Which one is communal clashes? Benue is a majority Catholic state. It's 98% Christian. So who are the communal clashes? There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. From Vandakia going through to Vakwande, to Boko, to Kasinala, to Lese, to Shongo. These are all TV people. The only offense the TV have committed is that they have land that have special species of elephant grass, which the Fulani cows love, and they have water. This is their only offense. The offense of the Benue people is that they have land that is water bearing and also grass
So
bearing. So the
because
Fulani
of
now
their
put
lush
eyes on that.
vegetation, that's the problem. That's the point.
Exactly. Same problem you see also in Plateau. It's the same problem you see also in Nasarawa. It's the same problem you see in Taraba State.
Isn't this
These
preposterous,
states,
sir? People are worried that this may just be, some sort of figment of our imagination, that it's not true. And people have constantly said this, that it's not a correct assertion, that it's just fears of perhaps locals, but it's not true.
yeah, people can speak in regard to their ignorance of the situation. I have been on this. I speak Fulfude. I speak Hausa. I speak Yoruba. I speak a lot of. I grew as a Hausa child. I grew as a Hausa child. I used to pray in the mosque. I call prayer. I do Wallahu Akbar, wa shada la ilaha illallah, wa shada Muhammad, and I can do all the ablution and do everything. I grew up as a Hausa child, so I know what I'm talking about. I started telling this country about 12 years ago about this problem. I live in the north, and I grew here in the north, and I know what's going on. But I'm right, you're right. Some people don't believe this is it. And I kept screaming and they didn't keep quiet. Some governors will say, "Why are you doing this?" I said, the more I sustain my propagations, if there are no intelligence reactions to rebut me, it's only a matter of time people will understand it. Today, Nigerians are beginning to understand it. This is the truth. Anybody you see killing any other person to take over their land is not a Nigerian. It is not a Nigerian. Most of the people staying in those new places are foreigners who have just come in, because the Fulani leaders think that engaging people to kill and take over land is okay. Nobody will talk. Can't you see? He took the president's talk. Why are there no arrests? Why are there no arrests? In 72 hours, we now saw arrests. Doesn't that tell you something? It tells you that the government and the security services know what's going on. But they have been prodded to look the other way. And that's why I tell you, General Danjuma is correct. The army collude. A lot of the elements of the army collude with these people. A lot of the elements in security services collude with them. Would they say they don't know? Of course they know what's going on. Just as the president said, why are there no arrests? What happened? Suddenly they are arrests. Just to tell you that security people also
Eh,
know
but,
what's going on
but
and
sir,
know who
in
these
Plateau
people are.
State, when some Hausa people were killed that Friday, the next day Saturday, they were arrested for about 22 people who killed them. So why did it take much time
That is
for
what,
arrests to be
this is
made
what
during
goes
the
on.
final attacks?
Don't listen. You don't know who were killed. They may not be houses. Okay? It's when people are killed, you start saying houses. They may just be the same Fulani or something. So leave that alone. You see, once the indigenous people carry out reprisals, this is the way it happens. But when indigenous people are killed, nobody talks. Only if the president say, why are there no arrests? Then you suddenly now see Police say they've arrested some people. That means they know who is doing this. And from what Governor Leah says, he thinks these are elements of the Mieti Allah Kotohore. Kotohore are based in Nasarawa State, operate from Nasarawa to hit the Benue Valley. They are led by Abdullahi Bello Bodejo.
Bodejo.
I know this because Bodejo is a personal friend of mine. Okay?
I
And
mean, he had
I
an
knew
issue
when they
with justice
started.
recently, and he was released and exonerated. So.
Oh, well, it was released because after he was kept there, you see, Bello didn't understand. When Tinubu became president and he continued what he was doing, set up militia, even invited some people in the police who came there, and the militia were just to go and take land from Benue. So when he was arrested for doing those things, he now left. But you can see after some time, those militias have come back to do what they were doing because they are interested in the lands in the Benue Valley that have water and also has grass. Same thing for Niger State, same thing for Taraba State, Plateau State, and Nasarawa State.
All right, sir.
So these
Recently,
are,
Enugu State have also witnessed such attacks, especially in
yes,
Ehamu
because
area of Enugu State, sir.
that is true. Ehamufu. You see, that's particular lush grounds you see at Ogbadibo, stretching through Otupa, through Ibagwa, into Ehamufu. All those are areas with lush vegetations. And that's what the Fula they want. This is what they want. But you see, because settler colonialism did not work in South Africa, did not work in Namibia, did not work in Mozambique, I don't think it will work here. It cannot work here because the way it worked in America was you have to kill the indigenous people. The way it worked in Australia, you had to kill the indigenous people. Same thing as in New Zealand. So the Fulani now think that the way that can work for them is to kill the indigenous people, take over the land, and the ones who are not killed headed into IDP camps. Why the government watches. And when you talk to the president, he says, communal clashes. Doesn't that tell you there's a failure of intelligence? How come those who brief the president from the intelligence community don't tell him the truth? So you cannot understand that this problem is deeper. The intelligence community is compromised. As Danjuma said, the security community are also compromised. As Governor Zulum says, a lot of people in security services provide information. Even politicians also provide information and cooperate with these terrorists. As Governor Muftwang of Plateau said,
Plateau State.
they are changing names of some of these communities. So if all these governors are saying this, why is the federal government not acting on it?
I am coming to ask you that question though, because I'm coming because we have to answer that question. However, after the Yelwata attack that saw hundreds of people being killed, as a matter of fact, there are still allegations or statements that more people are still missing as a result of the Yelwata attack. Now, I had a guest on this show who incidentally is a Yelwata citizen or indigene, and he did speak to us about the things, and he shared the sentiment of his people. I'd like to play a few excerpts of what he said. Interestingly, most of the things you've said here is what he's re-echoed, including what he said about dipping the Quran into the ocean and all of those issues. I am not aware of all of this. And I mean, I'm just a journalist, I'm asking questions, and I like to know your take on them. But I would like us to, first of all, address what was said. There was a threat issued out by a supposed Hausa Fulani man immediately after the Yellow Water attack. Let me play that. It's in Hausa language. I wanted to ask my beautiful audience to interpret it. But interestingly, you say they speak Hausa, Kinaji Hausa, so he makes it better for me.
Na
Yes.
iya Hausa,
So it makes it
inda sun fita da Hausa a zanji.
so it makes it better for me. So let me play what the Fulani man said after the Benue attack. And I'll go back to play what my guest just a few excerpts of what he said because that interview was as explosive as yours and he did say quite a lot. But let me play what an Hausa man said. I think just 3, 4, 5 days ago. It was trending on social media. Let's take that.
Hello. Tibi wallahi in ba ku daina ba za mu ci ubanku fa ya kamata ba ku duba abin da yake akwai. Wai kuna ce za ku kore mu a jihar Benue. Ƙarya ne, ƙarya ne. Wallahi in ba ku daina ba, wallahi za ku ƙare kanku. Na gaya maku kenan. ba wai za ku ce za ku kore mu a jihar Benue. Benue din na uba waye ne, naku ne. Ku ɗan Najeriya, mu ɗan Najeriya ne, ba ku isa ba. Wallahi in ku yi wasa daga Kadarko abinda ya kai Balanti Daudu, abinda ya kai Utese, ƙetare waya, za mu yi condemn naku in ba ku bari tsokane mu ba. Yanzu kan mage ya waye, tibi, bari in gaya maku, agoi zai maku bijiyo caca, ku bari fa, in ba ku bari ba ma rabin ku zai ƙare. Ba dai ga mu nan ga ku kuna ce za ku kore mu a jihar Benue, wallahi ƙaryanku, ko ku bari ko kuma ku mutu. Yanzu kam mun haɗa ƙafa wando da ku, in kun daina kun zama shegu. Muna nan muna dakonku, ranan da kuka ƙare kuka taɓa mana shanu ko mutum. To ranan Kadarko condemn, Balanti Daudu condemn, Utese condemn, Ketare waya condemn, sai mun haye da ku.
Bai buga ba.
Bayan mun haye da ku za mu ƙare mu haye Benue nan, za mu shirya bin Makodi, ko ku bari ko kar ku bari. Yanzu mun riga mun shirya, wallahi ko ku bari ko kar ku bari, bari in gaya maku. Ba wai za a taɓa ku kaɗan, Tinubu ya tashi ya zo ya yi maku gaisuwa. Wani rana ragaran na ya zo ya yi maku gaisuwa, ana dariya. To ranar da mun ƙara kun kashe mana shanu ko mutum, ran nan za mu kashe ku sai Tinubu ya yi kuka da idon shi. Otom, wallahi ka mai da hankali, kai ne ka ɓata ƙasar nan. Amma gwamnati na yanzu nan, ina ji labari ana ce yana da ƙoƙari, yana haɗa kan kawunan Fulani da Tibi, amma Otom kai ne ka kashe ƙasar nan. Kuna ce wai kuna yi target a hanya, in kun ga agoi a mota ku kashe. To mu ma muna da hankalin kanmu, kuma muna ga motoshinku da suna wuce wanda an rubuta masu Benue, Benue.
He's not playing. I can't hear
Kuma
it.
boss wannan mu
You
ma
can't hear
za
what
mu
he's
dinga
saying.
target nasu.
It's playing.
No, he's not saying
Kakkashe su mu
anything.
ƙone su.
Nothing is playing. He's not
Amma mu
playing now.
muna yi
Oh,
zaɓi
it's
in mun ga
playing. Oh,
ba
yeah. Oh,
yaren
then
Tibi
let
ba
me
I
za
see
can't
mu
if I
hear
can
fita.
start it.
it.
Okay, because it's playing.
Tibi ba za mu
Okay, all
I
fita.
right.
can't hear
Let's see
him.
if I can start it.
Ahead, now he's talking.
Hello.
Okay. Can you hear
Tibi
me?
wallahi in
Can
ba
you
ku
hear him now,
daina ba
sir?
za mu ci ubanku fa. Ya
Now,
kamata ba
yes.
ku
Okay, sir.
duba abin da yake akwai. Wai kuna ce za ku kore mu a jihar Benue. Ƙarya ne, ƙarya ne. Wallahi in ba ku daina ba, wallahi za ku ƙare kanku. Na gaya maku kenan. Ba wai za ku ce za ku kore mu a jihar Benue. Benue din na uba waye ne, naku ne. Ku ɗan Najeriya, mu ɗan Najeriya ne, ba ku isa ba. Wallahi in ku yi wasa daga Kadarko abinda ya kai Balanti Daudu, abinda ya kai Utese, ƙetare waya, za mu yi condemn naku in ba ku bari tsokane mu ba. Yanzu kan mage ya waye, tibi, bari in gaya maku, agoi zai maku bijiyo caca, ku bari fa, in ba ku bari ba ma rabin ku zai ƙare. Ba dai ga mu nan ga ku kuna ce za ku kore mu a jihar Benue, wallahi ƙaryanku, ko ku bari ko kuma ku mutu. Yanzu kam mun haɗa ƙafa wando da ku, in kun daina kun zama shegu. Muna nan muna dakonku, ranan da kuka ƙare kuka taɓa mana shanu ko mutum. To ranan Kadarko condemn, Balanti Daudu condemn, Utese condemn, Ketare waya condemn, sai mun haye da ku. Bayan mun haye da ku za mu ƙare mu haye Benue nan, za mu shirya bin Makodi, ko ku bari ko kar ku bari. Yanzu mun riga mun shirya, wallahi ko ku bari ko kar ku bari, bari in gaya maku. Ba wai za a taɓa ku kaɗan, Tinubu ya tashi ya zo ya yi maku gaisuwa. Wani rana ragaran na ya zo ya yi maku gaisuwa, ana dariya. To ranar da mun ƙara kun kashe mana shanu ko mutum, ran nan za mu kashe ku sai Tinubu ya yi kuka da idon shi. Otom, wallahi ka mai da hankali kai ne ka ɓata ƙasar nan amma gwamnati na yanzu nan ina ji labari ana ce yana da ƙoƙari yana haɗa kan kawunan Fulani da Tibi amma Tom kai ne ka kashe ƙasar nan kuna ce wai kuna yi target a hanya in kun ga agoya a mota ku kashe to mu ma muna da hankalin kanmu kuma muna ga motoshinku da suna wuce wanda an rubuta masu Benue Benue ko ma boss wannan mu ma za mu dinga target nasu kakkashe su mu ƙone su amma mu muna yi zaɓi in mun ga ba yaren Tibi ba za mu fi.
All right, sir. Did you hear everything he said? I had to repeat that, even though it was a bit long. And
Yes, 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 yes. His word was very simple. What he was saying was very simple. He said, Benue people, you say you're going to drive us out of Benue State. If you do it, you will see Pepe. He said, Tinubu just came here, talked to you, laughed nothing, talking about what they did, and Autumn didn't succeed. So what he's just saying basically is that they even see TV people in their Benue, they're saying a transport line
and
called
Benue
Benue
Link has
Links,
been hijacked.
that they will even
Has been
stop those
hijacked more than two,
vehicles.
three times. Most of its passengers have
Yeah,
lost
it said that when they come to Benue Link, that once they hold any Benue Link, they will find who is from Benue State, and when they get those people, they will kill them. So what he's just saying is basic. Threatening Benue people. You say you want to drive us from Benue State because they are not from Benue State, but they like Benue State, and Benue has grass. You see, it's like a man who sees your wife, covets your wife, and say you must take your wife by force. What thing happen? Then he's not complaining that if you don't want me to take her, I will kill you. This is what they are saying. His words are just basic. Telling Benue people, you say you want to drive us from Benue State. If you try it with us, even we see you kill our
So that
cow
means
this
he's
after Tinubu
threatening
come.
Benue State people. And why has he not been apprehended by the
Yes.
security agencies?
Because the security services are like what Tinubu have shown you. It took Tinubu to make announcement before they now told you they have arrested some people. Understand this. Our security services are compromised. General T.Y. Danjuma is correct when he said you that the security services are compromised and that they collude. Now, why would you kill Nigerians? Nothing happened. It took the president's visit before people were now arrested. It's all part of
Okay.
what's
So let
angry
me
him.
quickly play excerpt of that interview so that you react to
Fulani militia. It's not any profiling, it's a statement of fact. Tell the Fulani nation if they don't want this. Fulani militia. It's not any profiling, it's a statement of fact. Tell the Fulani nation if they don't want this. If they don't want us calling, why have they never called a meeting of the Fulani nation to say, look, guys, you guys are making Nigeria stigmatize us. Stop this thing. They would never call that kind of meeting. Have you ever seen them call the meeting? If it was Fulani a thief that this is happening to now, so thief will call the meeting. That's the umbrella body of thief people. They will call and say, look at what is happening. People are stigmatizing us. People are giving us bad names. Stop this thing. The Fulani as a nation has never called a meeting of their people to say, look, you guys have done too much in this place. We want it to stop. You guys are our bad eggs.
I can't hear it.
Are you saying that they're not arresting them because they just don't want to arrest them?
They took them to the divisional police headquarters in Bajimba.
Can you hear it now, sir? Can you hear it?
I can't. I cannot hear it. Just like the first,
So
I
let
can't
me
hear it.
Militia. It's not any profiling. It's a statement of
Play it back so I
fact.
can hear it again.
Can you hear it now, sir?
No, if I hear it, I'll tell you. I'm not hearing
It's very
anything.
important for me for you to hear this. Let me quickly see if I can play it back again all over so that you can hear it. Here you go.
Fulani militia. It's not any profiling. It's a statement of fact. Tell the Fulani nation if they don't want this. If they don't want us calling, why have they never called a meeting of the Fulani nation to say, look, guys, you guys are making Nigeria stigmatize us?
Technical issue. I can't. Let me see one here.
It's going out.
I can't.
It's going out. Can another person hear this?
I can hear you. I can hear myself. I can hear the what you're playing.
Oh, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Okay.
Fulani militia. It's not any profiling. It's a statement of fact. Tell the Fulani nation if they don't want this. If they don't want us calling, why have they never called a meeting of the Fulani nation to say, look, guys, you guys are making Nigeria stigmatize us. Stop this thing.
Okay.
You have a technical issue. I can't hear
it's
nothing.
Unfortunate.
It's not moving.
It's moving. The video is not moving. It's moving from my end. Can any other person hear the video from this end? I need to be sure.
But it's not moving here.
All right. So you know
It's
what would
not moving
happen, sir?
here.
Let me send it to you privately. Let me send it to you privately while I'm playing it here, in case others can hear me, so that you
Tell
too
me.
can also listen, because it's important that you get the point so that you can, react to it. So I've just sent it to you. If I can go ahead, I don't know. Yes, they say they can hear it. People say they can hear, so it's just you. You can see the comment. They say they can hear it, so it's just you.
Tell me what he said, and I will tell you.
Okay, he's talking about it. I don't want to make those things come up from my mouth, and I want to make I want me hear them. So I don't send them to you. If you want make I send them to another phone.
There's nothing that's new. I've been on this issue now for 12 years, so
So he's
there's
saying
nothing any
he's
human
saying
being
that
tells me
Fulani
that is new
ethnic
about the
militia is
killing.
not an ethnic profiling. That if the Fulanis are not happy about that and they think it's ethnic profiling, they should call the cattle horrors or cattle headers who are causing people to profile them to order, and tell them that, guys, this thing you're doing, it's making people to stereotype us. Stop doing it. We don't like it. This is not in line with what we want. And then people will know that, oh, it's not all the Fulani leadership that is in support of what their people are doing. But that you see what happens, that they keep quiet. They don't talk about it. He even challenged the National Security Advisor and says that he won't say anything about it because he knows. In fact, he even mentioned that while APC was giving their perhaps midterm scorecard and all that, that the National Security Advisor also called what's happening in Benue State a conflict, a former header conflict, which it is not. But that he knows that as a military or as a security intelligence person, that he knows that it's not former headers clashes. But because he knows that his ethnic group is involved in it, he called it former headers clashes. And that's why I wanted you to, So I think the technical glitch. So if you can, sir, I've sent it to you. If you can help me watch it so that you can respond to it, why I play this to the audience so that they can hear, sir. So please help me watch it while I play from here, sir. Please.
Do.
Thank you, sir.
Fulani militia. It's not any profiling. It's a statement of fact. Tell the Fulani nation if they don't want this, if they don't want us calling, why have they never called a meeting of the Fulani nation to say, look, guys, you guys are making Nigeria stigmatize us. Stop this thing. They would never call that kind of meeting. Have you ever seen they call the meeting? If it was Fula a thief that this is happening to now, so thief will call the meeting. That's the umbrella body of thief people. They will call and say, look at what is happening. People are stigmatizing us. People are giving us bad names. Stop this thing. The Fulani as a nation has never called a meeting of their people to say, look, you guys have done too much in this place. We want you to stop. You guys are our bad eggs.
Are you saying that they're not arresting them because they just don't want to arrest them?
They took them to the divisional police headquarters in Bajimba, that's the headquarters of Guma local government. The following day, a directive came to the DPO to release these guys. They even sent vehicle to go and convey them from that station. There are a lot of peaceful Muslims in Nigeria, as well as there are a lot of extremist Muslims in Nigeria. Those are the section of Muslims that feel that, yes, they must dip the Quran in the ocean, because that is the promises of their forebearers. They've said the jihad is a continuous process that hasn't stopped.
Where have you heard them say this? What's the evidence?
This is over and over now. Precious. This is not something hidden. For them, it's a jihad against the infidels. The infidels is what they call the Christians, for goodness sake, unbelievers. The only part, of course, is the Fulanization part. They'll be inviting their other Fulani kinsmen from other countries in the Sahel to come. There's a lush green land in the Benue Valley. They want a total takeover of the land. They capture the Hausa lands because they are all over. There are few in Hausa land, but they are the ones who are dominant. All the emirs are Fulani. You see a population, a town in Hausa land that is like made up of 80% Hausa people, 90% Hausa people. But the emir of that town and the most prominent people in that town are Fulanis. And that's what's happening all across Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kanu, Jigawa. You don't know why you're looking at it in bewilderment. That is what's happening. Many of these places, the Fulanis are only the emirs. Even Ilorin, you know, is Yoruba. It's Yoruba. But the Fulanis are the emirs now. The traditional ruler of Ilorin is emir now, emir of Ilorin. That's Amir. Amir, that's the Fulani title, for this, but they are Yoruba because they captured the place during jihad. And that is what they want to do. They constitute the establishment. They don't want to constitute the establishment in Nigeria. Ribadu is a Fulani guy. He's the National Security Advisor. The Minister of Defense, Badaru, is Fulani. These are the top echelon of Nigerian security architecture. The National Security Advisor and the Minister of Defense. Even the Chief of Defense Staff is not up to them because these are the ones that brief the president every time. And that's why they skewed the narrative that the president is talking about, hey, we should share our land with their neighbors, you understand? Because they are the people who briefed it. They are Fulani. And you will never, ever hear Ribadu describe the killing in Benue as a terrorist attack or Fulani attack. He has always been describing it as farmer headers. He was speaking with so much energy when he was talking about what they are doing in Borno. You know, Boko Haram, they are taking on this, they are taking on that. Then when he came to Benue, he realized, he said, and you know, the farmer header crisis in Benue. I said, no, mister, we don't have something like that. Go and watch that video.
Boko Haram, ISWAP, the Jihadists, banditry and kidnapping in the northwest, separatist agitations in the southeast, Niger Delta, and communal conflicts, including herder-farmer clashes, especially in the north central. In Benue and Plateau states before May 2023, violent conflicts caused thousands of deaths, over 5,000 in Benue alone.
It has become normal now in many of these villages in Nasarawa to see Fulanis with their AK-47 passing on bike. It has become normal.
I don't understand. No, you go to calm down. When did they drop this thing? All right, let me get back to you very quickly. I don't know if you had the opportunity to hear any of those things he said. Can you hear me, sir? Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Are you there? Dr. K.O., sir. Are you there, sir? Oh dear, I think we've lost him. Can you hear me, sir? Are you there? Hello, sir. Are you there? Oh dear, network. Can you hear me, sir? Are you there,
Yes,
sir?
I can. I
All
can
right.
hear you very, very much.
All right.
You
All right.
see.
Great. So you didn't have the opportunity to hear what he said, sir?
Yes, I heard him very well, and
All right.
everything he says is the truth. There is nothing to be removed. I'm so happy that after several years, after I did this interview on the BBC, Nigerians are finally beginning to understand what I was talking about. I can tell you for free, this issue has been on. The gentleman is right. Because, see, the Fulani were successful. After the British left, they now took over in the north, in the Hausa areas. So if you say Nigeria is independence, that is true. But independence only in the south, but not in the north. Because in the north, the Fulanis didn't leave. Don't forget, the Portuguese came, the British came, and the Fulani came. When we had independence, the British left, the Fulani stayed. Because the Portuguese had also left. So it is because of that Fulani staying that allowed dominate the House of Okwe areas, which principally now you can find in areas like Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kano State. Most of us in the South, due to ignorance of the diverse heterogeneous nature of northern Nigeria, they don't understand this. You use the word most people mistakenly use, they call it House of Fulani. There is nothing like House of Fulani. It doesn't exist. Hausas are different. Hausas are indigenous here. Fulanis are different. Fulanis are not indigenous here. They came here during the days of the Ottoman Empire. They were principal slave catchers. That's why they don't regard Hausas. You will not see a Fulani man consciously marry a Hausa woman. It doesn't happen. So the Fulani have now continued to put their thing everywhere, behaving like when they talk to them, they will tell you the North. When they talk about the North, Fulanis are talking about themselves, not about TV, not about the Biram, not about the Tangale, not about the Kanuri, not about the Hausa. They're talking about themselves. They think after the British left, they are the new masters, they are the new owners of the enterprise they call Nigeria. See, this is where our problem is. So our problem is principally due to the ignorance that is available in the rest of the polity. And I say this with all honesty. And that's why I appreciate when I meet people, I talk and they say, no, this is not possible. This is like the day I was describing this on channels. More thought, is this not a fantasy? I said, no, it's not. It's real. Because Nigerians don't know what's going on. They don't think we are making sense when we tell them this. This is true. Apart from the emir of Ankara and Daura, no Hausa man is emir anywhere in Hausa land. It's all the Fulani. And that's why you see them doing this. So what they now want to do is to see if, because the democracy has become so difficult for them, they don't have the numbers. Hausas dominate in populations by up to 90 to 93% of states like Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kano. These are the core four Hausa state nomics. But Fulanis dominate the ruling areas because after the British left, they stayed behind. And the British liked to deal with them because they were the ones that organized all those killings. So British said, okay, some want us to leave and some want us to stay. Well, then we can work with these ones who want us to stay. And those were the Fulanis. And that's why this has continued. So most of our people in the South don't know what the North is. This is a problem for everybody. So we need to continue to talk, to try to alert people, to educate for people to understand. This is the reason why I think it is dangerous today to give any Fulani leading politician power, because they don't have the power to control the Fulani militia. We saw it. Buhari couldn't control them. And like that gentleman said, it is true. The Fulani elite you're talking about, how can he not criticize what the militias are doing? Because them, the elite, are the ones who come and govern the land that the militias will now capture. This is how the land capture occurs. You capture the land, you colonize the area, you say nobody can be your own. Like in the Benue where you're fighting, the Benue are Catholics. The Benue people are 98% Catholic. The Fulani are mostly Sunnis. So what are they looking if not the land, the grass, and the water? And you now want to use that as a reason to kill Nigerians. And the Nigerian government folds its hands and looks the other way. And when we now embarrass the president to go there, he starts talking about communal flashes. Why? The people in the security services, like Ribadu, like Badaru, like Motawale, who can talk to the president, will not lie to him that this is a community. It's not community. There is nothing like Hectares farmers crisis anywhere in Nigeria. No, it doesn't exist. What you have are Fulani's protocols for capturing land. The Fulani seek land. Because right now, with our embrace of democracy, democracy is a numbers game. Fulanis don't have numbers to maintain their positions of entitlement that they have had since the British were with us. So now you have to deal with us. You come to Bauchi, you will have to deal with the people there. You know you have a Shiawa people there, Safa Belebas people, they're there. You go to Gombe, you have to deal with the Tangale people there. You go to Plateau, you will talk to the Birom. You talk to the Adaguta. You will talk to the Bokos. You talk to the different people from different areas. But no, the Fulani wants them to accept that they have been able to conquer Hausa, so they should also be able to conquer the Benue. And now you're now fighting a new war, trying to displace the owners of the land because you want their land because it bears good grass and it has water. This is all not there's nothing like farmers' Hectares crisis. What you have is an ethnic cleansing strategy being used as a ploy to gain land. But what is the government doing?
That's
Nothing.
the point.
Even when Nigerians are sacked, because the government is in bed with them, Tinubu is weak. Tinubu is weak because of the Buhari's Afghanization of our security services, which he achieved before he left. Don't forget, when Buhari was there, some of them didn't want to hand over power. They wanted to shoot up the plane when Buhari traveled to leave the Duku. But other countries didn't want that. And they said it's not true. It took people from other embassies like Britain, Brazil, Germany, the US to go and show at Trademore Estate on the airport road in Abuja where arms were stockpiled to take over government. That was just, then they now were forced to go to election. Even when the election occurred, they refused. When we say, why are you stopping? They say, glitch. Which glitch? Then Tinubu now threatened them, said, look, if you don't give me this, I'll join these people. The problem of June 12 was that election was held, a Southerner won the election, but no, our brothers from the north in the military services refused to allow that Southerner to take power. And that was how you now saw
Are
the
you saying
June
that
12
Buhari
war.
didn't want to hand over power to a Southerner like Tinubu?
No. He was never wanted. That was never in his game. Buhari never ever believed they should hand over power. And that's why you see most of them are now, they are destabilized. They never thought this power should be handed over. Okay, fine. You were in power for 8 years. Buhari now weaponized nepotism against the Igbo. At the beginning, he said 5%. But no, later on, he weaponized it against everyone in the country. Yes. What happened? And now Tinubu has come. Tinubu is behaving like Buhari, sustaining his nepotism as policy of government. They say, no, we don't want this. The other day, I heard that one retired general say, don't remove the knot. Don't go against the knot. And I said, so what was that general doing when Buhari weaponized nepotism to exclude the Southerners, especially the Igbo, in appointment to security services? Let me tell you how bad it is. In 2015, Buhari came to power, appointed a minister of state for petroleum, Ibe Kachuku. Ibe Kachuku designed the gas master plan. Do you know in 2019, when Buhari wanted to build pipelines for master plan, he excluded Imo State. Imo State is home to 54% of our gas reserves. The gas that is available at the Anon, you know, that Anon is Asa, not the gas from there. Only is about 54% of our entire declared gas. And do you know Imo State was excluded from Buhari's implementation of National Gas Master Plan? This is just to tell you how bad it is. So if nepotism was carried on to this way, what did those generals do? They kept quiet. Now that Tinubu is repeating the same thing, everybody's up in the air. That's why I don't think, that's why you saw when most of them wanted to do protests against Tinubu, the East said they won't join.
Oh, was
So
that the
that's
reason
why
why
you're
the
now
East did not
saying,
join?
let us up. That was exactly the reason, because the East said, when we went to vote, your people annulled the vote and imposed what we do. And when we complain, why the glitch and so on, they kept quiet. So why would you now want me to complain for the same Tinubu that you have put in power? Enjoy the product of your handwork. And that was why the East says so. As they're now calling us for coalition, the East is also going to tell them, and I'm telling it to you directly, if you will not correct the original problem of respecting zoning and allowing the zoning to come, we're not going to work with you. So there's nothing
All
wrong
right. So,
going
so
to the
now that you
coalition
have
to
said
talk.
this,
But
people said Shawari had alleged that there is an unwritten deal that no Igbo man or Southeasterner should be president of Nigeria. Do you believe in that? Is that correct? Oh dear. Network. Hello, sir. Are you there? Oh, no, no.
don't worry about Shawere. There's nothing new about what Shawere is saying. What I'm just telling you is there are people up north, the Fulani in their way, don't want anybody to rule power. It's not just no Igbo man. Nobody should rule. Only them should rule. They want to extend their success over the House of Boko states against the rest of the country.
All right, sir. Nigerians are willing to come into the conversations that they've been buzzing. Phone lines are open by people. Somebody asked the question here. He said, "What is the way forward from this colonization agenda? If there is anything like that, that's one of the questions. If you can help us do justice to that, while we open the phone lines, my people are itching to jump in and ask you a few questions very quickly. So, sir, what's the way forward based on this person's question?
Well, I can assure you one thing. I told people in 2016, it was a conference of governors. They asked me, and I said it will not work. I even some retired leaders, presidents before, and I said it will not work. They say, why do I say so? I said the Fulani do not have the numbers to actualize their vision. You see, yes, that issue of saying that it was the British who stopped them. Now that the British are out, they intend now to continue. That's why you will not see any Fulani leader publicly criticize the actions of the Fulani militiamen. If any of them dare criticize
No,
the
but
actions of
Atiku
the
has.
militiamen, they will blacklist
Atiku
him.
has. Atiku did criticize
No,
their
no,
work
no. What?
the Benue
Listen,
State attack. He
did
criticized it.
Atiku do? Why did Atiku keep quiet when Buhari was president and it was raging? He didn't say anything. He ran away to Dubai. It is now when Tinubu is president, he's talking about the killings and insecurity. Let Atiku mention the Fulani militias. Let him do it. I dare him to criticize the Fulani militia people. I dare Atiku to openly criticize the Fulani militia men. say, let him do like what Sheikh Usani has done. Openly appreciate it is the Fulani militias that are killing and tell them to stop doing this. It is because all of the Fulani leaders keep quiet while the Fulani militias commit these atrocities. That's why we believe all of them are together in it. If none of them will come publicly to criticize it, then why won't you speak openly and generally about what the Fulani are doing? And you say, don't talk about it. Don't talk. It's not true. They went and seized the NBC, used the NBC to penalize Channels Television after I gave an interview. And that time, the big popular channel said, Catch, who are you? I said, what do you mean? He said, why are they harassing my uncles who were asking you, but they don't call you? I said, because they know what I know. All of us know where we meet ourselves. They know I know what they are doing. So they will come and tax channel 5 million, trying to get the media not to allow me to speak. This is just the truth. But I kept fighting. We kept playing until we got the news out. We now got the people properly informed about what's going on.
All right. Okay. Well done. Welcome. What's your name, sir?
My
No,
name
no, no, no,
is
not
Catch
not you, sir. Not
Ononuju.
you, sir. We'll have someone on the line. Sorry, sir. All right. Diokpa Deli Ajufo. Go ahead. Where are you calling us from, Diokpa?
I'm in Lagos. I'm in Lagos.
You're welcome, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead very quickly.
Catch, I want to address this to Catch. Is he listening to my conversation?
Yes, he.
Yes, I'm listening to you, my dear
I'm
Diokba.
surprised you're talking like this. You should know better. We've been in various organizations talking about this. This is a standard history. If you go back to the publication of Parrot newspaper, 16th of November 1960, Ahmadu Bello made this statement, and that is what is playing out. The Fulanis don't belong to Nigeria. They don't believe in Nigeria. They're on a mission for conquest. And if we allow Benue to go, that is the gateway to the south. They will dip their Quran in the Atlantic. We should do something. Nothing that is said on TV. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So, do you want to react to that, or I should just go straight and ask another question?
Yes, he's very correct. I did a publication 2 weeks ago, and I warned the Igbos that they should do everything possible to make sure they join in the fight to save Benue State. Benue so far is the buffer to the east. If Benue falls, of course, if they could keep quiet while thieves are being killed, don't forget, during the Civil War, the thieves constitute the largest group of Northerners that joined the Nigerian army, seconded by only the Bachama of Newman in Adamawa. Yet, this is how the thieves are being paid back for all the blood that they shed to keep Nigeria one.
All
It's
right.
sad.
Okay. So somebody else did ask a question here about what you think about regional government. If you think that regionalism could perhaps quell all of these issues that we're going through, would you like to react to that, sir?
Yes. Regionalism is where we will go to ultimately. What we have right now is not working. What you're seeing is a lot of the fraudulent schemes and protocols, institutionalized by the soldiers in the manual they gave us as constitution. They're not working. They're not working. So we will go back to regionalism, which is all regions should have the power. And I think that's what we're going to. And that's part of the reason why you see a lot of them are afraid of Tinubu's coming back for second term. They believe he will do regionalism. And I pray so. But I think it should start now.
So
It
are
should
you
start
saying that
now.
are you
Forget
saying you're in
about
support of
those.
Tinubu's administration 101% and you do wish him well to come back for second tenure?
If Tinubu, for me, is better than any Northerner taking power, that's what I believe. And why do I say that? For the
So
security
how would you
problem.
assess his administration
So
generally then?
Tinubu,
Now that you mentioned that within these 2 years.
Tinubu's administration has not been very different from that of Buhari, but where it has done well, if you ask me, I am from the East. So Tinubu has stopped the federal funding for the unknown gunmen sting operation. That was a federal sting operation perpetrated by elements of the Buhari administration. As I'm talking to you right now, there is no more unknown gunmen across
So
eastern
who are
Nigeria.
those people
Why?
implementing sit
The
at home
federal,
on Mondays now? And we still have military presence
well,
in the
a
southeast. Who
lot
are
of
those people?
implementing of sit at home, implementation. Don't also forget that we had up to 38 different Biafra Nana organizations. A lot of them were proxies set up by the Buhari administration to do a lot of the things that they want. You know, see, it was the Nnamdi Kanu version of the Biafra movement that refused to do what they want. That's why they came for Nnamdi. But you see what I tell you, and most of the people who started with Nnamdi are the ones who went over to start working with Asari, start working with Utomefo, all of them in the Biafra customer government, and all of them were simply collecting money from Buhari and being managed by Bichi. But now, Buhari's, what's his name? Tinubu's government is not funding those things anymore. That's why you saw complaints from people like Asari and so on. Didn't they pay them again and all that? And all that has stopped. So for me, yeah, Tinubu might not have shown competence. The fact that he has stopped the federal funding of the unknown government sting operation in the East, I raise
Okay,
my
so
hands
people,
for him.
someone
But
also
then,
dropped a
that
comment here and said he shouldn't be too excited about that because there was a bomb blast in our mama today.
it does not matter. Listen, whether there's the important thing is that the principal bulk funding of that operation by Buhari and elements of his government have stopped. That's why you have peace all over the East. So whether you have some residual misbehavior by residual criminals, those ones don't mean nothing. It's not all you get rid of. There are some that have been stopped. But a lot of, those days, every time you catch somebody around Awobama, around Uli, around also, you go and interrogate him, you turn down somebody from Ebony. Who are these people? Who are they? I'm happy you've seen the publications released in America and the United Kingdom claiming that those people helped Buhari to do what they did. But what I can tell you is that Buhari has left. Security is a federal issue. None of the governors has capacity to do security. It is federal. It was Buhari doing all those things. It was Buhari. Now that
That's an
Buhari
accusation.
has left and Tinubu has stopped all federal fundings, I'm happy for that. There is no more unknown government sting operation being perpetrated by elements of the government in eastern Nigeria. For that, I am grateful.
Okay, all right.
I am grateful.
Nigerians, phone lines are open. Please kindly jumping on the phone line or click on the link on the pinned comment or pinned post to access the studio. Or you can call the WhatsApp number 0817 029 4077. Hello, good evening and welcome.
Hello, good evening, Precious.
Hi, Daniel. How are you? Daniel,
I'm fine.
move ahead very quickly. We have a lot of people on the line to call, and we need to release
Okay.
Dr. Keo.
The last time I was talking to you, then the phone now got up.
Okay.
Was telling you about the issue of ranching, in which I bring in.
The issue of what? The issue of ranching.
Ranch.
Okay. And that 11 states so far have adopted ranching.
Yes, and I told you that I was in a meeting in which they actually told them that since colony cannot work, that there's no difference with the name. Let them just target the name ranching.
Hey.
And the agreement is that are they going to codify it at the end of the day, the agreement in which the federal government, when they acquire this land for them, are they going to codify it? They say yes, they will ensure that that will work.
I don't understand.
The last time that what I'm saying, am I telling you that the truth? This is what is happening. I was in the meeting.
No. Calm down, Daniel. Are you accusing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration through the Ministry of Agriculture? I'm coming now. That ranching thing is the business of, I think, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development are together in that business. Right? So are you saying that they are deliberately asking states to release lands for ranching just to settle the Fulanis indirectly? Is that what you're saying?
Not only, yes, to settle them in the land and for them to become indigents of these various places. Because a lot of them from Burkina Faso and all these places, they are trying to come to Nigeria to settle presently. Even one of their leaders in Burkina Faso, he said the killing is too much in Burkina Faso. They have to move. And they are moving into Nigeria. And I bet you in the next 4 or 5 years, a lot of these people will be generals in our army. And you will see it. And you will now start talking about it too.
Thank you, Daniel.
So these are some of the things in which the country have to, I don't know, we are just blind and we are sitting on a keg bomb that we don't even know. And some of us we are somehow privileged to have some of this information, we have no voice. And even if we have voice, we have to be very careful.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. So that we can attend to someone else. Sir, you heard what he said. So recently, the federal government has admitted the fact that about 11
Yes.
states are willing to join the ranching program where they will dedicate acres of land to set, for ranching, as it were. So he is saying now that it is actually for settling or resettling of Fulanis in disguise. I think that is preposterous
That
again, but I'd like to take a reaction.
No, no, that is the truth. It is people like you who don't know that think it's a joke. What he said is the truth. The Fulanese, because of the war in Burkina Faso, in Mali, and other places, want to live there. And a lot of the Fulani leaders, walking through the Tabita Pulaku, Gandokoyi, and of course the Katahori, these organizations, theirs is to find land where those Fulanis who are living, Burkina Faso, living Mali, can come. Like, if you understand this issue, Ghana has a properly organized reaction to the Fulani crisis across West Africa. It is not just a Nigerian thing, no. This is a West African issue, but it has not bettered in Nigeria. And what I'm saying is, there is nothing like a rocket science to it. Let us cooperate with countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Ghana. Look at how they've been able to handle the Fulani issue. But no, our politicians are weak here. And when you're weak, just look at Tinubu couldn't do a thing. What happened? Fulanis went and started killing Yorubas in Ondo State. So when it rains, I don't think any roof will be spared. As you can see, it's happening in Anambra, in Enugu. It's also happening in Benue. So no tribe can say they are free from this. This is what the Hausas have suffered through generations. So the democracy is the reason why I say the Fulanese don't have the numbers to achieve their aim. And I believe as we go on, gradually Nigerians will gain awareness, and from awareness, they will start organizing. And they start organizing. The right thing to do is what the DG of the DSS said. Organize in rural communities and protect yourself. As General Danjuma said, I agree with that. If you wait for government, they will kill us all before government reacts. And since someone like Governor Zulum says that a lot of those people inside the army and even the political class are also cooperating with these people, it's the truth. Look at now, you do meeting and they invite Bello Turuji as a participant in the meeting, trying to legalize him. Because most of those Fulani leaders are using these militia people to hold large swaths of Hausa land. The game here is gaining territory for ethnic and tribal advantages. So if the Fulani leaders can misadvise President Tinubu to pretend as if Benue belongs to both the TV, the Idoma, the Agatu, the Igede, and now the Fulani, how? The Fulani has nothing to do in Benue. It's not there. So why should they be killing and we keep quiet? Of course, you can see the governor like somebody who was told, don't challenge our people, don't behave like Autumn, or we'll make sure I don't get second term. Maybe that's the reason why he's keeping quiet, Governor Autumn. Yes. You need to
Governor
start
Alia.
shouting like Governor Mutuang.
Governor Alia.
They
Governor
say
Alia, yeah.
Alia. And
Governor
don't
Autumn
forget
shouted.
Alia. Governor Alia. Governor Alia, from the history we're hearing, was a man who converted to Christianity and blah, 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 blah. You see,
Oh,
when I hear these things, I
He
cool
wasn't a
down.
Christian all along?
This is what I had, but I'm still following that
Oh.
story. Once people don't like a governor, they will throw everything out. So when I hear those things, I follow. I have been on this Fulani issue for 12 years. No Nigerian started saying it on television when I started. People thought I was joking. People thought I was crazy. But I saw what they couldn't see, because I, being a child who grew up in the North, and having worked on these issues, to the extent I made a documentary on this particular crisis. I traveled to about 6 countries. I went to Mali, Burkina Faso. I went to central Mali itself, Mopti, where the fight was occurring with the Fulani and the Dogon. I went to Central African Republic. I went to Ghana on this particular. I went to Niger. I went to Chad. visiting to see the crisis. And that's when I knew the war was pushing down to Nigeria. So when Nigerians were telling you it's farmers' headers, I said no on television, it's not farmers' headers crisis. The Fulani leaders are trying to achieve a demography alteration scheme. It is all about land. It has nothing to do with farmers' headers. Just land. They need land to resettle refugees escaping from war in Central Mali, in Central African Republic, Burkina Faso, and also in places like Niger and this is what they are. The Fulani do not have any history of peaceful coexistence with Africans anywhere on the African continent. It does not exist. Nowhere. Look at
are
what
you
they did
saying
to
they
them.
don't live peacefully with neighbors? Their neighbors?
No, no, they don't. They don't. They
That's an
don't.
accusation of
As I'm
an
talking to you
entire
now, they are
ethnic
fighting
group.
with. As I'm talking to you right now, they are fighting against the Susu, the Mandinka, in the Gambia. They are fighting against the Dogon in Mali. Now. They don't have it. Of course, you can see what they did to the houses. You can see that now. You can see that. So it is their attempt to force settler colonialism that is all doing all this. And I looked at it and said, look, settler colonialism didn't work in Mozambique, didn't work in Namibia, didn't work in South Africa. It will not work in Nigeria. Because for it to work, you need to ethnically cleanse all of us. And now that the ethnic cleansings of the Fulani militia men are now being resisted in the Benue Valley. I just told myself, and I went to Igbo meeting and I told my people at home, and I said, this is a problem. If Benue falls, the buffer is gone. So all of you must rise up. This is not a Madame Putestramid business. It's serious business. So all of us are in danger from this Fulani war across our country. It didn't start now. The government is not serious. The government is not sincere. And that is the truth.
All right, I have some other person to bring into the studio. Hello, good evening, Mr. Mop. Good evening, Mr. Mop. Don't be in the bedroom. Show your picture and your face to my guest, Joe. Let him see your face. You'll be fine
Uh,
like this, and you not show your face. Yes, Mop,
yeah,
welcome,
yeah, greeting. I'm lost of speech. I don't even know where to begin. Precious, this is a
sir.
masterful interview. And to my guest, this is very insightful, and authentic. So thank you, Dr. Kachi. I don't know where you have been. I've never seen you before. This is probably the
Is
greatest.
it not you people that asked me to bring him? You people have been dragging
Hold
me
on.
like I
This is
passed my
probably the
neighbor
greatest
generator to bring
guest
him.
we have since the emancipation of Precious Amy TV, in my own opinion. It is for me
Emancipation
that
indeed.
I have witnessed. Yeah. It is great. We would like to have you more often. But thank you, Dr. Kachi. I don't know where to begin, like I said. Every question that I wanted to ask has been asked, and and you answered the whole question. So I'm not going to repeat that. I don't want to make it redundant. So my question to you, Dr. Kachi, is that judging by everything you have said and where we are and where we are going from here, do you think Nigeria can succeed as a country the way we are right now? Is there anybody that can be able to, able to take us to, to the promised land? Because I've not seen that person. Even like a movie supporter or whatever, the way Nigeria is structured today, because of the system and the constitution. Do you think it's possible? That's just my question, sir.
Yes, it is possible. I am a very optimistic person. The only problem we've had since the British left was the Fulani. It was the British and the Fulani, nothing else. If you check, other parts of the country are just willing to move. But you see, when the Fulani now instrumented the military coups, which allowed them access to power, they started writing decrees, doing all those things. That was how you saw they even wrote and made their Sultan the head of all Muslims in Nigeria. Even though the Fulani are new, they are historically not indigenous here. The Fulani came from Yemen. They were rejected in 1802 by the Kanuris in Borno. They were rejected by the Mandinka and the Kaka. They were also rejected by the Mande in Futatoro. But when they came back to Gober in Hausa land, today Gober is in Isa local government of Sokoto. That was how Sarkin Bawa allowed the man to stay to teach his son, Yumfa, these new ways of Sufi doctrines under the Sunni arrangement. And that was it. When Sarkin Bawa died, the Fulani seized Yumfa, killed him, established Sokoto, and used Sokoto as a staging ground to undermine the House of Bokwe states. When our fathers started fighting for independence, they refused. Organized that Kanu killings, the Kanu riots. When Akintola went to Kanu to address the people of Kanu as the leader of the action group delegation, why didn't the Fulani agree in Lagos? That was it. The Kanu riot took place May the 3rd. I remember it. And then the killings, the British were not impressed. They said, look, oh, these people want us to leave. That was it. They became the baby of the British. The British left, the Fulani stayed. Even the Civil War, the British would have arranged it in 1958. It was a consul general in Enugu that told them, don't do that. Still, after the British started telling Nigerians totally, and that was it. They were fighting the Igbo because why? They were interested in the hydrocarbons that have been found in the East. I, as a child, I was in Diobu after the Civil War, and I remember how soldiers were telling us to deny our Igbo-ness. And we went to election 76 with Obiwali saying, no, we can't deny who we are. Senator Obiwali, Chief Wanodi, Chief Aguma, all of them said we must insist on who we are. And Obiwali went to election and won landslide. So when again they did 8 years and didn't allow us to vote, Atiku started sponsoring people to the mosque to say nobody should vote anybody from the East. Wike started this acrobatics. I'm not Igbo. As a way to gain acceptance. Even after he did that, they refused him. He said, okay, since we build this house together, no one make we use it. All of us make we go scatter the thing. That's what he's doing. And I understand that. So Wike is a reaction to the behavior of the Fulani leaders who, after 8 years of Buhari, refused that power should go to other people. So we have not actually gotten too far from where we are. But what I can tell you is what we will use to resolve all this is awareness. And the awareness is growing. Okay, imagine me. I've been saying this on television for the past 12 years. But now Nigerians are beginning to understand what I've been saying. Because I told some elders, I said, the more I sustain my propagation, if nobody is able to intelligently rebut me with time, Nigerians will see that my position is that of the truth. And that's where we are right now. So I understand who they are. I know what they're doing. They don't.
Oh dear, I think the network is has gone back. Mr. Mo, yeah, are you as shocked as I am? Cause I don't even have energy to talk. In fact, this kind of conversation you don't talk. You just listen. Before people will bite my ear off when I ask some
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah,
So
thank you, Precious. I mean, whatever she said, it's good enough for me. Thank you very much,
all
Precious.
right, I appreciate you, Mr. Hope. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I see you. I hope Dr. Catch can join us back. I think his network has gone bad. I hope he joins us back. But let me take a bit more reactions. Delia Jufo, I see your messages here. Thank you so much. And then this says, is there any activist who has spent quite a good time studying the Fulani and the activities in Africa? That person is Nnamdi Kano. Oh, wow. All right. And then Erasmus, yeah, says Nigerians or Nigeria are colluding with the Fulanese to take over Biafra land, and Biafra Liberation Army are resisting them from unleashing mayhem in Igbo land. Fulani can't conquer Igbo land. That's what you think? With all of this going on, even Ghana don't give them chance. That's what Tata says. Fulani and Nigerians who stand with them are problems. That's what said. And Erasmus says, Mazin Namdekano said it all about the plan to colonize, to eliminate everybody in Nigeria. Oh, wow. And then here again, okay, I see a message. It's old age strategy. Create crisis, offer solutions, and legalize your agenda. Hmm. Interesting. And then, yes, they don't. That is, they don't stay in place. All right, phone lines are open. Let's see if we can take a few more calls before we wrap it up for the day. It's been an amazing conversation today. It's been an explosive session. Let's have Dr. Catch wrap up. I know it's quite late, so we'll have to. Dr. Catch, let's have you wrap up. I know you had quite a day with me. Sorry, it is always like this. If I leave this, my people, they will leave us here. They will not let us sleep tonight. But let me take
It's
this
all
call so
right.
you react to
We
it.
can always segment and do it other times. It's not a problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Precious. My
Welcome.
name is Chicks. I'm calling from the United Kingdom.
All right, from United Kingdom.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
wonderful spoken by your guest.
Thank you.
One thing I want to ask you, I guess, is if he has all this knowledge, and I believe the Southeast leaders, the same time, have the same kind of knowledge they have. Why are they so silent in speaking out on the happenings? Because growing up, I used to be proud of where I come from, but today I'm not proud of where I come from because I remember one person who can stand and talk the same way your guest talk now, which is Chuba Okadibo, and since he has left, I have not seen any Igbo man stand and speak without fear. Why is it? Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So he's talking about the silence of the Igbo leaders. Many have also been worried about that. So let's use that as a concluding thought.
Well, you have every generation do have their own champions. It's very good. The gentleman talked about the past when people used to be very vocal, but since the Sunni sponsored state capture over Nigeria, which started from the military days, we forced them to agree to a democracy. I know that a lot of our leaders are very afraid to speak the truth. I understand this thing. Probably I was prepared for this. I grew in the north as a child, and I understand the north and speak, and I know what's going on. So when I saw the issue, I was able to differentiate between the Hausa and the Fulani. So if I see a Palata, I know him. I say a Bahoshe, I know who that is. Just by you talking, I
Mm,
know you can't
mm.
change it. I can differentiate between who is who. So, and the fact, don't also forget, it's not everybody that has the knowledge, has the courage to come and share it. Some of us also have the courage, but don't have the knowledge. But in my case, I think I'm lucky. I have the knowledge, I have the courage to share, and I also have a front row seat in front of cameras. And that's why I've been sharing. So thank God a lot of Nigerians are becoming very aware and they are standing up to do this. And I know it will be well with us. Let's
All right.
not
Some
stop.
Nigerians will want to know if you've experienced any danger sharing these ideas since you started sharing. That's what many know about.
Yes, yes. I've experienced danger. There was campaign by Fulani leaders to put me out of television. A lot of one. They were penalizing channel, penalizing AIT just to make sure they don't bring me. That's the truth. They will arrest Chamberlain, arrest the people, and tell them to come to Abuja from Lagos. Give them 5 million naira fine just for allowing me to talk. Those things I know. But you see, for myself, I know if you talk, you die. Don't talk, you die. So let Kuku talk. For me, I have an innate duty to share what I know. If through people knowing it, we will now have some quality of life saved. Good. And I'm very happy now as the president is beginning to pretentiously say it is for what we're saying, but we need action. Rhetorics are not enough. People are dying. People are dying. I am concerned because my own fear is if Benue falls, the East becomes vulnerable. If the Benue people who fought for Nigeria during civil war can be killed like they everybody keep quiet, nobody will talk when Igbos are being killed. So we better
Mm.
fight to make sure Benue does not fall. And that's
Thank you, Dr. Ketch. I don't.
those Fulani should be removed from Benue.
Thank you, Dr. Ketch. Dr. Ketch, would you oblige us another opportunity? My people are asking that you come back. They need constant enlightenment. Appreciate you, real good. Thank you so much. It's been an awesome experience with you.
No problem. I will come back. I will come back. I will come back.
Oh,
Thank you very
thank you
much.
so much. When I grow up, I'll take care of you, sir, for making this promise. When I grow
Thank you.
up, I'll do you shaggy. Thank you, sir.
You are welcome. You're welcome every
Thank
day. You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate you,
Thank
real
you for
big. Thank you
having
so
me.
much. Do enjoy the rest of your evening, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, Nigerians, that's the size of our package. The other stories, then what I tell you, I'm not gonna take them as headline because my mouth don't full and no fit explain further. If you never follow our page, what are you waiting for? Go straight, follow us like your village people now. Please now click on the subscribe button. Is it not DSTV? It's not DSTV, it's not Go TV. Even DSTV and Go TV don't reduce their rate. Sef. Now me say way my own are free. You know what? Subscribe. Well, go subscribe now. Like, share this information. Make we continue to educate each other. And with time, I'll cut out segments of this show and I'll put it out separately so that we can continue to be informed. I like to say I love you guys. Let me run through the headlines I had today very quickly so that we can be quickly informed. And I told you earlier that, Wike intensifies mindless looting in an exclusive, according to an exclusive with People's Gazette. He intensifies mindless looting of Abuja lands, allocates 2,082 hectares of land worth 3.6 billion naira to his son, Joaquin, in Maitama, Asokoro, and other juicy areas in Abuja. And Wike's media aid has debunked that conversation and they said it's not true, but evidences have shown that it's likely to be true because I went through CSC documents of the said company that was given the land, and of course, it has the name of some cronies of Nyesom Wike. Kingsley Chinda and the rest of them that have been accused or were accused last year, December, of being cronies of Nyesom Wike. And then the president has signed 4 tax bills into law. That's also a conversation we should get involved in very quickly. And the Nigerian tops global ranking for lack of access to electricity. In case you don't understand, see, among all the countries who don't get electricity and the biggest countries who don't get electricity, when Nigeria don't carry first for the 3 times in a row like this on a carry first, according to data we visit and release. That means I don't get if a village like Yellow that is across the federal highway lacks electricity, then what are you talking about? That means it's possible that this is a thing. So yeah, that's it. I told you about that already. So let's move on to other issues. I did tell you earlier that Lagos State government has denied involvement in the demolition of Obi's brother's property, and they have said that they will probe into that demolition. And we do hope to see the result of that conversation. And there's confusion as to ADA political groups seek registration from INEC. To ADA group. And Dr. Kacha has jumped in on that, and he did say quite a lot, including the one involving Atiku Abubakar too. PDP National Working Committee counters Anyanwu's reinstatement, schedules next meeting for June 30th. That you would also know. June 30th is just a few days ahead. That's just next week, Monday. Okay, that's just on Monday. All right, so let's see. We also did tell you that military deploys 800 special forces to combat Nigeria's worsening security challenges. That was also part of what we discussed. And we said bandits have captured and taken control of Kankara local government area in Katsina State. So as they talk like this, that local government, Kankara, and then get up. And I tell her about the 20 soldiers we didn't kill for Niger State. She will stand don't talk. Say, I say they die for all of us. May their souls rest in peace. It is really sad. I don't know if you remember a certain gospel singer who killed his girlfriend, dismembered her body, and all of that. Yeah, yes. Yeah, he's been sentenced to death by hanging. That's also in the news. And then Nigeria will recover from hardship if governors deliver good governance. Tinubu has said so. But these and other issues or conversations we've had today, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you for being part of the conversation. It's been an explosive session with you guys. And I know I love Anashigi now. Go subscribe. Go subscribe. We need to pay money to subscribe. Click on the subscription button, subscribe, like, share, and then follow us like a village people. We'll continue to bring you conversations that shape our nation. And we do hope that Nigeria will indeed rise to that enviable height that we all want it to rise to. My name is Precious Enyi. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys. I love when I don't tell Anna before, but protect your mental health because wahala may be finished. Good night and God bless you. Thank you.